Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday night. Some of us are having technical issues, so that's why we were running a little bit late. But we are all here on Friday night for episode 4 of the Barroom Podcast. And I'm joined by my lovely, beautiful guest that I have here with us tonight. Start off with Mr. Rob Motto, who's back with us once again, all the way from Washington. How you doing today, Rob?
Man, pretty good. Good start to the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Nice. The name that no one can forget, TW Booty Hunter. How you doing tonight?
What is up, guys? I'm doing really great, man. I've been just put out a video responding to one of my favorite YouTubers ever, Finn McKenty, on a topic that I feel he was just doing a lot of damn virtue signaling on. But still no hate towards the guy anyway. Still love his content and all that. And tomorrow I'm basically gonna re-upload part 2 of GTA San Andreas, because I'm just playing the definitive edition, so I'm just gonna do that content and stuff over that. And also I'm gonna be streaming probably on Twitch. Yeah, I'm streaming on Twitch tomorrow with Fall Guys, because finally got Fall Guys on Xbox, and I am hyped as hell about that. I just got through playing it earlier today. Man, that shit is fire.
hey, man! I just asked how you were doing. I didn't need all your personal life and all that other stuff.
Hey, man, get it.
I got you got plenty of them.
Mm-hmm. and then, of course, the lovable personality of Cole Casacage. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Glad to be with y'all as usual. We just talking it up, and I always appreciate that.
Yeah. So we were having a couple of technical issues, but hopefully y'all get fixed along the way. Condescending Josh will be joining us later on. He's dealing with some mic issues, so he'll be joining us a little later. So we're at the end of the week. It's Friday. How's everyone's week?
Very interesting.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very interesting indeed.
Well, I think we should just go ahead and just kind of go straight into it, because I thought this was going to be like a light news week. It wasn't too much that happened outside of one recurring story that seems to update every single week we do this show. It's probably the longest running segment of our show, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. But of course, the thing that everyone's been talking about, the thing that everyone has been absolutely upset about, is the recent decisions by the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Now, this started yesterday, and then if you thought the yesterday reaction was bad, today has been far, far worse. So let's go ahead and just kind of get into it. Let's start off with what happened on Thursday. Now, on Thursday night, Thursday afternoon, the Supreme Court of the United States reversed the ban from the state of New York enforcing concealed carry in the United States of America. And needless to say, all the left-wing progressives out there were very, very upset by this ruling because, well, let's just put it this way, they're very anti-gun, even though they pretend not to be. So when the Supreme Court struck down a law that required a permit for concealed carry, it was ruled unconstitutional. And it was ruled unconstitutional in a 6-3 decision. And basically what you had is that you had everyone on Twitter, everyone and their mother, having a complete meltdown on this very issue. Now, who would know that this wouldn't even be the biggest issue of the weekend, but let's just go a little bit on here. Now, normally I don't really cover too much of these stories, because let's be honest, when we're talking about celebrities complaining about something that the government does, it's usually the usual suspects over and over again. And it pretty much proves itself to be true here. So you had Julianne Moore reposting Everytown USA, which is an anti-gun organization. And then you had, the usual suspects of Bette Miller saying that don't tell me that the Supreme Court isn't completely partisan. Shame, shame, shame on the conservative members of this ridiculous, laughable court. Barbara Streisand, remember when she was a thing?
Oh, God.
She said that.
Just watched the South Park episode about her.
Oh, yeah. Very, very funny, too. In a country reeling from gun violence, the GOP extremists on the Supreme Court now overrules the rights of local governments to protect their citizens. Actually, the Second Amendment overrules states' rights, because, it is in the amendment. But anyway, truly it's a disgrace ruling that the judges themselves want to protect against people with guns. George Takei, he always has something to say on these issues. So let me get this straight. A state with the right to restrict abortion does not have the right to restrict firearms. And we now have to, this is now what we have, these United States. Yeah, so he's complaining that, I'll get to that in a second, because that's a whole story on itself. Rob Reiner, the Supreme Court just made death by firearms more convenient. Yeah, that's kind of the point. Albert Brooks. This is morning. The Supreme Court rules 63 that Americans can carry concealed weapons without any rules.
That's not what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's what they mean in their mind, right? Top Chef host, I can't pronounce her name, is Indian. It says, will enough be enough? How many more people have to die? It's like, yeah, I didn't know that people were getting shot when legal concealed carry. That was weird. West Wing star. This is sickening. We're a broken nation. What's this? Joshua Molina?
Joshua Molina. Yeah, he's a real pain in the ass. Anybody that likes Mel Gibson, he like has a problem with, and it's just like, let it go, dude.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Jeffrey Wright is another very vocal leftist. It says, except outside of the homes of the Supreme Court justice up to 2 weeks ago, big no-no. Ain't life funny? It's like, yeah, you can't carry guns outside of the homes of Supreme Court justices because that's called intimidation. There's actual laws against that. So
right.
A lot of these people think that they're making points and they're actually just spewing nonsense. The Wire star Wendell Pierce says, open carrying weapons in New York, this will be the Wild West. I don't know if you noticed, but New York was already the Wild West before this rule was overturned. We'll get to that. And that's basically the rundown of the meltdown on the gun issue. Now, you would figure that this would have been the biggest issue that the celebrities were complaining about this week. Turns out that it wasn't, because less than 24 hours later, as you guys woke up earlier today and found out, that the Supreme Court officially overturned Roe versus Wade, which was the abortion case back in the 70s that legalized abortions worldwide. So now we have even new meltdowns coming out regarding this. So essentially what happened was that they overturned Roe versus Wade, and now the rights of abortion is going to go back to the states, because that's the way that's written in the 10th Amendment. Anything not explicitly stated in the Constitution is a state rights issue, so now states are going to decide whether they want to legalize abortion or not. So here we have a number of celebrities who are now reacting to that news, starting off with Family Guy Seth MacFarlane.
Really?
Not too long ago, this would have been a dystopian sci-fi, but the legacy of the 2016 election and the undeniable mark the GOP is printed here is black and white. How much further will this go? It depends on American voters. Blame extremists or impany, but this is America. So, Beth Miller again. I'm not reading her crap.
She was saying, no. Bette Midler, by the way, earlier in Twitter, she was like, and it's not here, but she was like, gay people are next. Gays are next. And it was like, what is wrong with you? Why are you trying to whip up hysteria over, like, whatever? Go ahead.
We'll get to all the whining and complaining, and there is a lot of whining and complaining to go on.
I can tell.
Michael Moore, the guy who wants to reform America to
God, yeah, I haven't heard from him in a long time.
Said bastards, and then very, very upset. Judd Apatow went on Twitter and said that nothing matters except voter registration and turnout. I'll address that point here in a second. Alyssa Milano, who once used one of my articles for her podcast, says that banning abortion is about controlling women and trans men. Like, what?
Wait, what? I'm confused.
You can't exclude them, okay? They belong.
It's about white supremacy, the patriarchy, and misogyny. It's a sad day for America. I still want my signed copy of Charm, by the way. Patton Oswalt said that the dude who cried about beer on TV has made the big decision about your life, ladies. Oh, yeah, there's also a woman on there who made a decision as well, but we'll get to that in a second. Stephen King, the Republican Party, is living in a cone of denial. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening on Twitter today. Piper Pepero, who from Yellowstone, says that here's the access to an abortion map state by state. So ladies, go get your abortion, or you just close your legs or something like that. I don't know. Pedro Pascal with the he him in his pronouns did a plan to they put out a number to complain about the Supreme Court. Adam Scott, this is so awful. We've been trying to figure out what this means and where to start. Women's rights or human rights? Fuck these assholes forever. A couple other people. Oh, what'd you say about Adam Scott?
No, I mean he's like, I like Adam Scott quite a bit. Like, he's a good actor, but it's just like just act. Just close your mouth on political things. Thank you.
Charlie Angel's director Elizabeth Banks everyone can get a gun, but nobody can get bodily autonomy, America. It's like, yeah, I wonder when that ended. Maybe when you guys were pushing vaccines just last year. John Cho, tyranny of the extreme minority. Tyranny of the extreme minority. The people who don't want endless abortions are the extreme minority of the United States. Viola Davis said that, and this goes gutted. Now more than ever, we have to use our voice and power. So just the recurring theme in a lot of these tweets is that they don't really have anything to run on for the midterm elections later this year. So all they pretty much have is abortion, because you can't talk about like inflation, like the cost of living, the gas prices, all those things make them look bad. So it's like, okay, well, we're just going to run on abortion and being able to kill babies and stuff like that. So Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, by the way, who said something really dumb a few weeks ago. She said that the Dobbs decision is a tragedy. This heartbreak has caused that it causes immeasurable, but someday, hopefully soon, we will find our way to the future where reproductive freedom is forever enshrined in federal law. Rachel Ziegler, who was in the West Side Story, it says, "Why the fuck don't you care about us? Why the fuck do you think that you have any say over our bodies?" Right? Once again,
he, her, hers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we always got enough. It's not even enough to have it in the pronouns in the bio now. Now they have to put in their actual like name titles. Right. John Cryer from 2.5 Men. Now this right here is effing grotesque. And then Billy Eisner, who has that really shitty movie coming out later this year, says, "Get your fictional, hateful Bible stories and your fake fictional religious bullshit out of our fucking lives. Fuck you." It's like, okay.
It's double negative, Billy. It's a double negative. Fake fictional. It's it does it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Come on. So.
Yeah, he acts like this somehow like it infects him like directly or something. Busy Phillips, who was the actress who said that without her abortion, she wouldn't have had her illustrious career that she's had in Hollywood, says it doesn't end there. Exactly. Fuck this sham. Fuck these people. If you're going to be a single issue voter, your issue is taxes. Fuck you. This Supreme Court is on you, right? Because how dare you want cheaper taxes, especially in this economy that we're living in today. Rob Reiner, women have no right to make their own reproductive health decisions. Separation of church and state is being obliterated. Everyone has the right to carry a concealed firearm. We're being tyrannized by an autocratic minority. It's like, okay. That's Patricia Arquette, but Rosanna Arquette said the death of America. And Michael Rappaport probably said something. I'm not going to play his video. Who cares? Sophia Bush.
I was to do the Rob Reiner South Park impersonation, but nah, you can go ahead.
Yeah. They will never end with abortion. Only safe abortion. This is not about life. It's about control. Those motherfuckers. Was she on One Tree Hill years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's Sophia Bush. Yeah, she was on One Tree Hill.
And then I've already read these people. Michael Kelly from House of Cards. Scream for the rooftops now, but find a friend or many of them who are unregistered and register them to vote. Judging Amy star Amy Brenneman said that we're with you, Wendy Davis. I guess Wendy Davis said that this is a devastating moment for the right to control our own reproductive destinies. I'm choosing hope rather than resignation. Ghostbusters Afterlife star Carrie Coon said that the states' rights argument has always been attacked. It's not a principle. It's like, well, it kind of is. That's why they're going back to the states. Kiki Palmer, who's coming up in the upcoming film Nope, and also in the film Lightyear.
Kiki Palmer, my baby.
She's in Lightyear.
Which is
yeah.
We'll get to Lightyear later on. Trust me. But he said, I'm past disgusted with my country and their constant inability to protect one another's rights and keep their word. How are you overturning the wrong thing? So many people so many things to overturn that make sense, but why choose? But this is what you choose. So essentially, she's talking about the Second Amendment.
Well, she may be hysterical, but she's still fine.
Ethan Embry says, according to our Supreme Court, according to our Supreme Court states that you cannot restrict your right to carry a weapon, but you can restrict the right to expel foreign objects from inside of your body. So, yes, you cannot restrict the right to carry a weapon. It even says so in the Constitution. That whole line that says shall not be infringed. And now you're comparing a baby to a foreign object. Like, David Arquette said in that wrestling years ago. So yeah, there's a number of people we have. Samantha Mathis from the show Billions saying fuck the patriarchy. Kristen Johnson saying that fuck women, protect them guns. And then last but not least, some singer named Matt Nathanson who says how to overturn the Supreme Court. So there's a separate story that I got entangled on, but we want to go ahead and just start off with kind of the reaction of everything that you just heard. A lot of people are very, very upset. Very
Yes,
upset
that was a lot.
with some of the things that have happened over the last couple of days. So I don't know where you guys want to start, whether it's the gun issue or whether it's the abortion issue. I'll go ahead and start us off with Rob, and we'll go clockwork down. So what do you think of Ho's quite literally being mad for the last couple of days?
Yeah, no, I mean, the gun issue, first of all, is interesting to me because you have a group of people who can afford armed security. They can afford security systems. They can afford gates. I mean, all kinds of ways of deterring criminals of coming into your home. And yet they don't want individuals to be able to protect themselves on the street in a place like New York City, where there's constant crime and violence potentially, that you're facing. And it's completely asinine that anybody would want to live in a city where you can't arm yourself. Like Philadelphia, any of these places, Philadelphia, New York, I don't know about LA or San Francisco. I don't know what that's like, but I'm sure they're restrictive as well, where it's like you have these crime rates sky high, not even what they were, in the mid 2000s or whatever. I mean, because it's always been bad. My opinion, the kind of things you're facing. So it's like, why would you not want people to protect themselves? And this line about it's the city's job to protect its citizens, like, no, it's not. We all know the police are not a guarantee to show up. We know that you're on your own largely. And so it's like, you're saying that I can't arm myself against what we know are elevated crime rates right now is asinine. Now just quickly touching on the other issue, look, I'm technically pro-choice, even if I've enjoyed like how much people are freaking out, but at the end of the day, abortion's still legal in 20 plus states. You're still going to be able to access it. Past that, I don't know.
All you people from California who moved to all these red states in the last few years, maybe it's time to go back. I mean, it's still legal in California. It's very, very legal. So why don't you leave Georgia and Arizona and Nevada and Texas and Florida and all the other red states you guys moved to? Just simply go back to where everything you want is already intact. So
I'd love to go back, but one, it's way too expensive, and two, other reasons why I can't.
Well, what do you think of the celebrity rage on Twitter?
Honestly, coming from a non-political person, because I don't really get into politics much at all, but on the gun shit, people got to be able to protect themselves because like a lot of the psychopaths, a lot of the bad people, they're gonna find ways to, like, even if that shit's illegal, to kind of like basically like get guns anyway. So for the people who so for other people, they need to be able to protect themselves against all these psychos in the world, or just anything. Because like Rob just said, the police are not going to always be guaranteed to protect you and shit like that. So yeah, you got to be able to protect your home, no matter what happens, because it's up to you to protect yourself, not the city. And as for the abortion thing, honestly, man, I'm kind of like with like women should be like able to like have control over like their own bodies and shit like that. But hey, man, I mean, on the bright side for them, it's not like the shit's really gonna stick. Plus, they'll find ways. They'll find ways anyway. So I don't see the point in being upset about it. They'll find ways anyway to like get that shit going.
Well, Cassie, I know you have a lot of strong opinions about one of these topics, so I'll let you go ahead and get in on both of these.
Yes, I love guns. The more people that are trained and can purchase guns, the better. So, yeah, fuck anybody who wants to take my fucking gun away. And if you want to take my gun away from someone who is a female, who, in fact, versus the average man, is gonna take an L, then go fuck yourself. That's literally how I feel about that. You don't care about women if you want to take a woman's gun away. You don't give a fuck about minorities in criminally written neighborhoods. I mean, one of my best friends, he lived in Newark, New Jersey, and had to worry about fucking drug dealers stashing their fucking firearms on top of his fucking roof right over his daughter's bedroom. And guess what? He can go out and get a burner real quick from, the bad people, because he knows people, he knows people from his past. But in order for him to get a legal gun in New Jersey, it is extremely difficult. So fuck you to whoever wants to take potential like self-defense away from people who genuinely need it. That's complete bullshit, and it pisses me off. I'm tired of hearing the conversation. At this point, a lot of leftists even are in support of guns. And while I don't agree with leftists on a lot of shit, I'm glad that look, when it comes down to it, gun control people are fucking losing. You're a bunch of losers. So take the fucking L and shut the fuck up. Even the left supports gun ownership. So yeah, basically that's what I have to say about that. In terms of when it comes to abortion, like, I don't really take a particular side, I guess. In a sense, I am pro-choice, but to a very certain extent. I mean, principally as a libertarian, women should have the right to, terminate a life. But to a certain extent, I believe personally, to a very certain extent, my line drawn is when the life has brainwaves. To me, that's when I determine someone's life the same way we determine someone's death. If someone's heartbeat is gone, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're dead yet. It's when they no longer have brainwaves that we determine they're dead. So that's where I do draw the line. A lot of people don't personally know where to draw the line, but that's where it is for me. Now, while I do want to preserve the lives of potential children so that they can get a chance, and I'm completely against women using fucking fucking abortion as birth control. I mean, there was this viral video picture of this woman that was so proud that she got 21 abortions. I mean, honestly, the bitch should be fucking horsewhipped as far as I'm concerned. So when it comes to that, I think that's a problem. I also do recognize the reality that there's a lot of people that do want a lot of control, and they will do anything to do it. And I believe that that's an issue on both the left and the right, because the right, a lot of people think that they're like, pro freedom and shit, but that's why I'm a fucking libertarian, because they're full of shit when it comes to that. When it comes down to it, they run on the concept of libertarianism, but then when they win, they turn into baby socialists. So it's like, I don't like their bullshit when it comes down to that. Be real, because you're not pro freedom, and just it sucks. It sucks that we have to fight over this shit. It sucks we have to fight over whether we can murder unborn children or not. It's sad that we have to go there, but honestly, anything when it comes down to it, even though this is all a power grab at the end of the day, I think it is important to say that, in a sense, this is a good thing, because we've just taken a power away from the federal government. That's a way that I do see it. The federal government, if the feds have less power, in a way, I do support that. States will make these decisions, and what can I say? I hope that my state, I don't know what my state is going to do. I live in Pennsylvania, so who the fuck knows? It's like sometimes Pennsylvania
you're
is
a purple
right or
state,
left.
so
it's like, yo, liberal retards, go the fuck back to your states, all right, and kill all the babies you want. Honestly, I hope we break away from y'all, because y'all are fucking stupid. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. So a couple things here. One, I think we're pretty much all in agreement, at least as far as the gun issues go. Especially now, both of these issues, the argument's already been settled, and it's on two different accounts. On the gun issue, we all saw what happened in the 2020 Summer of Love, as they call it, during all the mostly peaceful protests, while everything was like burning down and on fire, that no one talks about anymore today, even though they'll still talk about January 6th as if it was like 9/11, right? But we all saw what happened there. People decided that they were just going to burn down the city and burn down people's businesses and burn down people's livelihoods because, well, they were mad. They were mad and something needed to change. So they decided, well, we're going to burn down your business and take away your ability to feed your children, feed your families, whatever the case may be. And then if you decided to object, we'll beat you down in the street. So we saw that there was a number of people who decided that they were going to take the law into their own hands because, as we see, when the stuff gets really hot, the police are pretty much just going to stand there and do absolutely nothing and then say, well, we were only following orders. We saw that with the recent school shooting where they sat there inside the building for an hour, did absolutely nothing while kids were getting shot. And by the way, they're tearing down that school now. That's not weird or anything whatsoever.
By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a Supreme Court ruling that determined the police do not have to save or defend you.
Right.
That is a choice that they can make. So to me, that means we must learn to protect ourselves because there is no guarantee that our protectors will protect us. Period.
Yeah. And not only that, but I don't know if some people have paid attention, but there's a recent string of what we'll call accidents here on YouTube where, certain food processing plants are just exploding all across the country for no apparent reason. And no one seems to know exactly what's going on. And now cows and sheep are just mysteriously dying in mass, and no one can really explain exactly what's happening. So we're in a situation right now where inflation is still out of control. I think we've surpassed 9% last month, so that's good. We have economic downturn. I mean, the stock market is probably on this way for a big crash here in the next couple of months. You're going to have energy shortages. You're going to have gas shortages. You're going to have food shortages. And I don't know if you know this, but human nature detects that when people can't eat, when people can't feed their families, when people don't have the ability to keep their families warm, they tend to do very desperate things. Which means that when the push comes to shove, and we already know you can't rely on the police, you don't want to be the only person out there without a gun. It doesn't have to be a big gun, but you're going to want to have at least some bullets stashed away somehow in case things get a little crazy. Things are kind of progressively getting crazy as things are going along. So this whole idea that, we need to take away guns to protect people and whatnot is a completely BS argument. It was just only being made by stupid people who have no idea what the hell they're talking about in the first place. Now, to move over to the abortion thing, and by the way, this is something I want to discuss with what Cash said. The Republicans are very, very fortunate, I would say, that this Roe versus Wade situation happened today, because if it didn't happen today, we'd be talking about the fact that Republicans supported red flag laws just last night, late last night, as that one going on. They passed the gun control bill that the House supported. So in the next few weeks here, you're going to have now red flag laws where our essential intelligence agencies, which can totally be trusted 100% whatsoever, they're now going to be going after people who they deem to be a threat. And their definition of a threat is anything that's essentially anti-government. So if you're one of those teachers or one of those parents in those school districts who went to complain that, you have certain teachers that were teaching things to your kids that you don't like, you may be considered a threat. If we get to a point where, the food shortages do start to worsen and the energy shortages do start to worsen, and you start making social media posts about how the government is responsible for these things, you may be a deemed threat. And guess what? Now you're going to be subject to red flag laws. You can all thank Republicans for that. So don't let them completely off the hook based on what happened last night. So I just want to throw that out there. But parlay that over to abortion. And the argument that everyone's making in favor of abortion is completely outdated. And it's been outdated over the last year because all these people that are out there talking about, my body, my choice. This is about body autonomy or whatever it is. These are the same people who last year said, get the jab, or you're not allowed to participate in society. You have to get your vaccine passport, or you're not allowed to go to restaurants. You're not allowed to go to baseball games. You're not allowed to get on a plane. You're not allowed to leave the country. In Canada, people right now have been, I think they just changed it maybe in the last week, but in the last 2 years, you have not been allowed to leave the country of Canada if you have not gotten the vaccine. They have not let anyone in or out unless you're vaccinated in the country of Canada right now. So these are the exact same people who a year ago, when it was all about the current thing, were saying, get the shot or we're going to punish you, or we're going to make sure that, hey, you're not going to be able to work a job. You're not going to be able to go to a grocery store. You're not going to be able to be a citizen of society because you didn't do the right thing for the greater good. Now these people want to come out a year later and be like, hey guys, it's our body, our choice, right? As if somehow we just forgot everything you guys have been saying over the last year. So we've gotten to a point now where, guess what? People really don't feel sorry for you at all. All you people out there complaining about how now I'm going to have to take personal responsibility because I can't just open my legs to any guy that I met at a bar last weekend and have a kid. It's like, oh no, you're going to force me to have a baby? No, we're going to force you to take responsibility before you get pregnant in the first place. That's what's happening. This isn't about body control. This is about you taking the responsibility to, if you can't afford to have a kid, then don't have unprotected sex with someone who you're not willing to have a child with, and don't just go around sleeping with multiple people, because that's another thing. I don't know if you know this, but monkeypox is on the rise right now, and we all know what they're blaming monkeypox on at the moment. So some of you guys have just been completely disregarded any personal responsibility in your life, and now you're afraid that for once you may actually have to take responsibility for your own actions, and that's what makes you guys fearful. So I want to go let you guys talk about that for a second.
Well, I just wanted to say real quick, because like there was this trending topic on Twitter today, V for Vendetta, which I thought was very interesting. So I was like, I kind of went into it, and it was all of these people kind of decrying the Supreme Court decision, saying, they started with Handmaid's Tale, and now they're moving to V for Vendetta, where they're going to come and take your gay marriage away, or to separate you and your gay partner. And it was like, wait, so you guys didn't connect the dots when like COVID was out and they were developing a vaccine in record time? You didn't connect them shutting down society, people losing jobs, people not being able to see their sick loved ones as they were dying because they might contract COVID. Those fucking hypocrites. So my ex-girlfriend couldn't say goodbye to her mother, with someone else in the room. It could only be one person at a time. So it's like I have these real world experiences where people suffered because to potentially save them from a virus that 98% of the people who got it survived. It was insanity, and these people are so disconnected from reality and so tied in with their everyday conveniences that they never made that connection. It was just like, these people live in a detached sense of reality.
Yeah, 100%. Any thoughts, comment on for you guys?
Shoot, I guess the last thing I'd have to say in terms of the abortion thing, another positive is maybe now these fast little heifers can't be out here having unprotected sex. So maybe that'll teach them a thing or two.
Yeah, maybe don't open your legs to every person with a new pair of Yeezys on, and you won't have this issue.
Oh yeah, and also maybe this will also teach the fellas, like, maybe you have to wrap it up, or either that, take care of the baby. Use the 2, 3, 4 condom rule that I use.
Listen. If I have to start using a condom with the people that I rarely have sex with, it's probably I'm just gonna call it a game. Okay, I'm just gonna call it a night. And I'm joking, but it's like
with the people,
it's too much people you have.
The people you have sex with, you may want to do that just out of abundance of caution, let alone all the other stuff that comes along with it.
It's not a great area.
That's where I got the 2, 3, 4 condom rule.
I was looking forward
3 condoms, 4 condoms, because you just never know.
Just as an aside, I was looking forward to leaving this weekend because there's going to be a ton of protests and people, Antifa area and all that shit. Now I might not be leaving. It depends. I have to see if I'm giving my friend a ride to her mom's memorial. But it's like I kind of hope I'm leaving just so I don't have to be. I live right next to a Planned Parenthood, so I'm probably fine. But it's just like just leave me alone, please.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Man, what was I gonna say? Fuck.
Nothing.
I can't even remember. What was the topic at hand?
Hoes mad. The whole thing with the vaccine, and now they want the abortion. So.
Yeah, these people have been exposed for being the hypocrites that they are. Also, I think it's important to state the fact that these people that are fucking whining, squealing, and crying like annoying little bitches also support the federal government. You are the very fucking problem. Fucking work with me in supporting getting rid of these motherfuckers so you don't have to worry about this shit. It's that they want a monarchy. That is what they want, the monarchy to follow everything they believe in. And that's not how this fucking country works.
Nope.
What's great...
As I said, they want big government. They just want to be the one pressing the buttons. And when they're not pressing the buttons, that's where they have a meltdown.
And they're fucking stupid because if they think the feds are gonna follow their every fucking whine and whim, that's not how it works. You're gonna have to settle for bullshit that you don't like. So stop supporting the feds if you're fucking mad about this shit. Get the fuck over it. It's like the people that hate Trump so much and said he rose to power, and it's just like, but you support this giant fucking power and you don't want to get rid of it. You are the very problem. Just either shut the fuck up or change your thought process because it makes no sense.
I mean, I got not much else to add to that. I mean, some people are just in denial and they like to cope. So, we're going to stay on this topic for a little bit because this blew up. And I know it's going to mix two of TW's favorite things, which is pro wrestling and politics. Which is kind of
those are neither of my favorite things.
Oh, yes, they are. Don't believe him. He's lying. So, obviously, in the world of pro wrestling, you've had a lot of, let's just call them progressive left-wing activists within this small little community. And they have been very, very upset. Now, I'm not going to go through every single tweet that I've seen today. There's a lot. I might even do an article on Bound to Get in Comics this weekend about all the outrage because people have also gone on Kane, Mayor Kane, as I like to call him, because he posted a tweet in support of the overruling. But there was a couple of tweets here that I wanted to show you guys from people who you may know. Now, Soraya, who you may know as WWE's Paige, or at least she will be WWE's Paige for another week. I know they're not renewing her contract or whatever, but she's been one of the few people that have been very, very upset over the last few weeks. And she said, okay, now hit men with vasectomies, or is it just women who have their bodies controlled? Now, she also said something about Kane. I won't bring that one up because I just wanted to bring this one up. I responded to this tweet by saying, well, you could just keep your legs closed. Oh, sorry. I forgot who I was talking to. Carry on. Now, if you don't know the story of Paige, if you're over the age of 18, you can just Google some of her videos. There are a lot on the internet. We'll just put it that way. So
too many.
It's no real surprise that she would be one of the people very, very upset about this ruling. I just wanted to throw that out there because I just thought it was funny. But this is where the real argument started. Now, some of you guys may know a pro wrestler by the name of MVP.
Oh, I love
MVP is also another WWE wrestler. And we kind of got into it a little bit earlier today over a post that he made. Now, he originally made the statement that, rich people will still get abortions. Any of including many of those politicians of people who of means that publicly applaud the overturn of Roe versus Wade. So he spent the whole day essentially making this about a rich versus a poor type deal. So I simply responded by saying, that's because it will still be legal in 20 states, you muppet. Too many dumb people are trying to sound smart this afternoon. Now, that was the first tweet that I sent out. He responded to that one. Let's go back over here. Oh, wait. I actually got to swing this one over. Give me 1 second.
Oh, no problem.
There we go. So he responded to this by saying, you are obviously one of those dumb people who you're referring to. I'll pose a question to you, you simpleton. What will poor people that can't afford to travel to those states do? Or the ones that live in those states that are traveling out of state for the procedure that is now made illegal? So apparently he thought that this was a got you question by saying, well, what about the poor people who are now going to be affected by abortion? So I responded to this by giving him a number of solutions. 1, condoms. 2, don't fuck everything with legs and a pulse. 3, don't have unprotected sex with someone you don't want or can't afford to have a kid with. Follow these simple steps, and nothing that you said will even be an issue. No problems, only solutions. You're welcome. So, of course, this wasn't the end of it. He posted, and this response confirms that you are, in fact, the dumb people you spoke of. Have a mediocre day. So he just completely dodged everything that I said. It didn't even acknowledge the argument that he plays a part of him, because he asked me to essentially, counter his point of what are you going to do with these people. It's like, well, you know what? There are steps that you can go through that you don't have to worry about everything that you basically said. Because I think there was one more argument that he had on here, and he started arguing with like a whole bunch of other people that weren't me. So I'm just trying to make sure that I got all the responses to this one.
I told NBC that you're confusing poor people with stupid people, and it's offensive.
That was funny.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't want to overreact, like laugh to it, but it was pretty funny.
So this was the last one. He responded to somebody else, our friend One Nation United, and he said, "You called me a dumbass, but you never specifically addressed the specific points I made in my initial tweet. I'm saying that people with means won't be affected, and there's a lot of posturing hypocrites, politicians, and their mistress, and that will go quietly on a trip." And then I responded, "He called you a dumbass because you're trying to turn the issue of abortion into a rich versus a poor issue when it's an issue of personal responsibility and individual choice." And his last response to me based on that tweet was, "Look at this incredibly stupid person proudly flexing their ignorance on Twitter." So this is what happens with a lot of left-wing circles, is that when you got them in a tail and they can't respond to anything that you said, they'll just name call you. They'll just call you an idiot. They won't even address anything you say. They'll tell you to shut up or you're dumb. And okay, so you don't have an argument then. You don't have no counter argument whatsoever to anything that you just said.
Just ad
I'm
hominem.
surprised he didn't block you immediately.
Yeah,
I thought he muted me.
That's what I thought.
I thought he muted me for a second because, like I said, at one point he was basically responding to everyone else but me because I think he realized that he wasn't going to get like the typical Republican response that he was expecting. So he just kind of ignored me for a while. So he sent like that very last one out, like, and then in the last hour or so. So then I just be like, "Oh yeah, we're going to talk about this on the podcast today." So, what do you think about some of the comments there made from people like Paige and MVP? I'll start with Cassie.
Well, when it comes to these people, they're just in their echo chamber. Most of them don't even believe that this is kind of a split down the middle issue. They think that because they're so involved in their echo chamber, they think that it's completely one-sided when it's really not. And I think that both sides are a little bit extreme. I would like for people to come a little more towards the middle on the issue of abortion. But yeah, they completely think that everyone thinks like them because they aren't in touch with regular people at all. And if they do come into touch with regular people that don't agree with them, they want to get rid of them. They hate you. That's why I fucking hate them too. Like they hate you, and this is why you should avoid supporting their bullshit at all costs. These are the people that constantly tell you they fucking hate you, but then they want you to watch their bullshit, support their projects. Like, go fuck yourself.
Yep. And before I'll get to TW here, and I just want to point out that, especially you talk about echo chambers, the world of pro wrestling is one big echo chamber right now because the overwhelming majority of people, active wrestlers in the business right now, are left-wing, are progressive. Like, it used to be 20 years ago, most of the guys were conservative, or at the very least was moderate in some cases, but that's completely flipped. Now you have a bunch of 30-year-old millennials who grew up watching The Daily Show and getting all their news from Jon Stewart and stuff like that. These are the people who are now grown up and they're making all the political opinions. So guys like Kane, who's like one of the smartest guys out there, who's basically a libertarian. I mean, he's pretty much just a right-wing libertarian as far as his views goes. But because all these people are like radical SJW progressives, they all hate him now. They can't stand him because, he doesn't believe in banning guns, or he doesn't believe in a limited abortion. It's like, no. He's like, you guys have known this for many, many years. It's not like he's kept any of these opinions, any of these political opinions secret over these years. But now everyone wants to come like, we can't stand Kane anymore, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's like, okay. So if you guys are going to turn on him, then go fuck yourself. I know you definitely turn on me because I'm pretty sure I'm a little more right-wing on some of my opinions than Kane is. He's not the type of guy that will put you on blast on Twitter, but I definitely will be. So, TW, what do you think of this whole thing, especially in the wrestling community when it comes to this situation?
Oh god, this is one of the reasons why I don't like to talk about this shit. Other than the fact that you're my friend, this is your podcast, and I'm like, hey, you asked me about it, so fuck it, I'm gonna talk about it. But yeah, these people just need their own like kind of separate platforms, like their own kind of separate like Twitter like platforms where they're not like interacting with like everyday people, because I don't know, man, maybe they do need their own little echo chamber, because when they try to interact with like regular people who have like opposing opinions to them, they don't know how to take it. Yeah, and it's just like, and it's just really weird. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say about that. Oh yeah, also the fact that you would think these people would have a lot more time on their hands and better shit to do than, respond to, like, no offense to you, but just like regular people and shit.
Oh, there's a follow up to this. We'll get to this when we'll wrap up this topic. Rob, what do you think?
Well, I just think it's these people live in an echo chamber, Cassie said earlier, and they think that their opinions being backed up by a bunch of Twitter randos or followers who believe the same thing they do is representative of something meaningful, but it's not. I think it's something like 25% of the U.S. population might be on Twitter, and how many of those are even active? Maybe half of them or something. But and I don't know how real that is. But it's like it's just a place you go to find some entertainment or laugh about something, or like that's social media at its best when you can just kind of have a casual relationship with it. These people spend all day long on Twitter just being a keyboard warrior, and it doesn't mean anything. It's like maybe some of them are activists or whatever, but really it's like, how much does that, I mean, this is what I love about these Supreme Court decisions. That's real world change, not what activists do, not getting on the street and yelling a bunch of shit and, pretending like that matters because you're with your friends wearing a pussy hat. It's, and that's what I mean is these are people that they think that is what matters. And it's like people who know how to make change, or like they're lawyers or whatever, they're inside the system actually changing it. Bringing these cases up to the Supreme Court, having these things reversed. And so it's like, I'm sure the lawyers, the law firms that were involved in these cases are celebrating, having a great time, saying, hey, we made history. So it's just like, Twitter's a place where it's like, if you don't take it too seriously, it can be fun, but these people don't, and they're miserable.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very miserable echo chamber, and I say this all the time, and it's starting to become like more of a reality. It's like, look, Twitter's not real life. Like, and I'll admit, I'm a person that goes on Twitter and I'll get into arguments with people, but look, I understand Twitter is not the real world. It's like, I can listen to a lot of people on Twitter give a lot of bad takes. And I also understand that, well, those takes don't represent the entire morality of America. Because if it did, we'd be far more screwed than we actually are now. But I understand that there's a difference between that. Some of these people don't understand that. So before we move on, I just want to play this video because it's very, very funny. When I
already recognize some of them, So.
Yeah, so just play this.
Oh my god, they're fucking barking.
Literally.
Yeah. That's pretty much been our country for the last 48 hours, just for anyone who's wondering.
My puppy, who doesn't know any better, is more well behaved than these barking fucking lunatics.
Yeah, and that's another thing. If you try to present yourself as the normal opinion, these people don't look or act normal in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. So, any final thoughts on this topic before we move on?
Nah.
No.
All right, then. Well, we are going to move on to another topic. We're going to stay in the world of professionalism just for a couple of more minutes because there was another incident this week that caught a lot of headlines before the entire world decided to go insane. And it was an incident with Booker T and Adam Cole.
So wait. Booker T was involved in this?
Well, he's the one that jump-started all of this.
Okay, so somehow Booker T, when he moved to the WWE, and maybe he did it in WCW too, I was just too young to notice, he would have the most ridiculous reactions to things, like both leading up to the ring and in the ring. And personally, he became a favorite of mine just for those, like, the overreactions. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Booker T is awesome because unlike some people, like the people we go with on Twitter, his reactions are usually like more reasonable, like more level-headed. Even if you don't agree with everything that he says, he always comes at it with an even cool approach. So Booker T did a podcast where he talked about Adam Cole, and this ended up causing wrestling Twitter to have a complete meltdown for an entire week until the Supreme Court justice came out. So essentially what happened here is that he was on his podcast. He was talking about Adam Cole. Apparently Adam Cole's hurt. He has to have he doesn't say he might have surgery. I'm not 100% certain on that, but he is hurt right now. He's out of action. So he talked about this on his podcast, and this is all that he said. This is the quote here. He says, if Adam Cole has to have surgery, he's down for 6, maybe 9 months. he'll lose more muscle. It's going to be hard on this brother. You know what I'm saying? Right now, he's about $160. We got to get more weight on Adam Cole. You know what I mean? That's the problem. He's light. He's bottom light. We got to get more muscle on that kid. And he's probably one of the reasons why he's going out there and getting hurt, because he can't handle the AEW schedule. Now, you read that and you're like, okay, like, what's the problem? Like, well, what did he say that caused so much outrage? He just basically said, yeah, if he's going to be hurt and he's going to be inactive for a while, he's going to have to go back to the gym to put on more size, because if you're hurt, if you're injured, you can't go out and do gym routines like you would normally do. So you'll probably lose a little size, you'll lose a little bit of muscle. That's just normally how it is. But people started accusing Booker T of body shaming, saying that they was pointing out that Adam Cole is small and he was shaming his body. So all these people, the same people who were on about the whole bullshit thing, were saying, how dare you guys go out there and body shame Adam Cole? And they're like, he's one of the top guys on the show. He doesn't need to be in WWE shape and all this old nonsense. So many wrestlers, I saw like Hangman, Adam Page take a shot at Booker T, Eddie Keith. All these guys are just going on social media doing their echo chamber thing. So then I put this post out there, and this ended up getting a lot of people upset. And I wanted to just read what I said and read some of the comments that I made versus the reaction to this. So because of what Booker T said, because of the reaction to what he got, I said, dear wrestling fans, it's not body shaming if you consider yourself a professional wrestler working for a major promotion and you look like this. Now, I know some of you guys may have not watched professional wrestling in quite some time, but, there used to be a day where professional wrestlers were larger than life. You still have some big guys out there. I'm not shitting on everybody. There's still some big guys out there, but the overwhelming majority are guys that look like the person that you see on this thing right here. Now, I made a second point on here that says wrestlers such as Gunter, Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, Elias, Hammerstone, Moose, etc. have busted their ass for years to be in the best shape of their lives right now. Stop propping up guys who refuse to put in the same effort. That's all that I said there. And then, of course, the same people who were yelling at Booker T started yelling at me. I got a whole bunch of retweets from weird random people. I think there was one wrestler who responded to me, but I literally had no idea who he was. So I didn't really bother with him. Right? So then Sean Ross Sapp and a few other people started, commenting, and, every people running me down. But here's the funny thing that happened. The more people who quote tweeted me to yell at me in the replies, the more that the likes started going up. And after about a day of like all the AEW fans just like completely reeing, I had more likes, almost 100 more likes than the quote retweet. And then even on the second one, I got like way more likes on it. So once people actually got calmed down for a while, it was like, oh my God, how dare you shame Adam Cole for not looking like a buff wrestler? People were like, no, actually, I pretty much agree with what he says in the media. If you're going to be on television, if you're going to be on a TV show, then you're going to have to look the part, right? I mean, there's a reason why they casted Chris Evans to be Captain America, because he put in the work to look like a superhero on television or in movies, whatever you want to say. We do this with everyone. Chris Hemsworth is coming out in Thor here in the next few weeks. He's a guy who has to put on a lot of size to look the part of being, an Asgardian god and things of that nature. So when it comes to, the look of what we think of a traditional pro wrestler, it's not exactly someone who looks like maybe Rob would take them in a fight. Not to throw a shot at Rob, I'm just saying that you expect someone to be much, much bigger than you if they're going to be in this field, right? So this whole argument brought in a whole thing about, body shaming in wrestling, which is absolutely absurd to me. This term has never been used until the people that are currently in the business got into the business now. This has always been a thing. There's always been a standard of how you want a wrestler to look. For years, we had guys like Big Show, guys like Mark Henry, guys like Yokozuna, guys like Vader, who have all been sent down, like Stevie Richards, I'll name a whole bunch of guys, who have all been sent down by the management and say, hey, you need to lose weight. You need to get in better shape. Or, hey, we want to give you a push, but you're a little too small. Why don't you put on a little bit of size, and then we'll see what you can do. Now, there's a picture that I want to show you here. I have to pull it up, because I forgot to pull it up on my notes. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on the idea of body shaming in pro wrestling. And I'll start with Rob, since he's kind of the noob. Not exactly the noob, but he's not really as in tune as some of the other people are here are. So what do you think of this whole situation?
Well, I mean, because I know that there's all kinds of like weight classes or ways that wrestlers compete with one another, whether it's like cruiserweight, lightweight, kind of thing. You have the hardcore title. You had the Intercontinental, and a lot of it was on weight classes. I mean, if the wrestler was good enough, maybe it didn't matter. But it's like I don't even know who Adam Cole is, and so my whole thing is like, okay, so are they trying to beef him up to like 190, like to be like a more of like in the heavyweight arena, or is he a smaller guy and it's just kind of like what it is? Because like you have people like Spike Dudley and like Tanaka, and like you have all these like you have you had smaller wrestlers that weren't necessarily like superstars, WWF superstars or whatever, and you had bigger guys like Psycho Sid Vicious, Vader, Yokozuna, Bam Bam Bigelow. I mean, just kind of, Mark Henry's a good one. But so it's just like, it sort of depends how the wrestler fits more than how, like, body shaming, because all of these wrestlers were in good enough shape to do their job. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the classic, like Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Lex Luger, kind of all these guys are in really good shape. Not to mention, they have to have the endurance to run around the ring and grapple with guys their size.
Yeah, I just want to put this over before I go TW that I'm going to go ahead and show this too, because this is another guy who we were talking about. But the thing with like pro wrestlers is like, yeah, there's always been small guys in pro wrestling. That's always been a thing. But the thing with it today is that there's so many small guys that even the guys back then weren't always top of the card. Like the top of the card, you see like big guys like, your Hulk Hogan's and like the Rocks, and even like Cena back in the day, guys like Batista. They were always the guys you thought of being like a top guy. You wouldn't think of a guy the size of Adam Cole, and I'll have a picture queued up for him later on as well. Yeah. You wouldn't even think of those guys being like the top guys to carry your company, because when you try to put them in that position, that's when you get like the casual reaction of, wait, really, this is your guy? So I just wanted to put this over because this was something that we were talking about earlier this week. This is a WWE wrestler by the name of Gunter. He was Walter up to a few months ago. But this is what he looked like a couple of years ago when he first showed up to the company. And then this is what he looks like up to last week. And as you can see, the guy went through a massive transformation to get into the best shape of his life. And people were actually trying to say that this was WWE's fault because they quote-unquote forced him to get in the better shape. It's like, the guy busted his ass for 2 years to get into the shape that he's in this photo right here. Do you think that he cares that he has to put in the work to look this good now? It's like, why is this even a complaint in some people's mind? But in the minds of some wrestling fans today, they do not like guys who look like this on their shows, because in their mind, this is the WWE look for a wrestler. They don't like the traditional guys that are in shape, that are big, that are built, guys that look like they can win an actual like real fight, to be their top guys, which is why they gravitate to the more smaller guys like Adam Cole. TW, I want to get your thoughts on this one real quick about the whole body shaming thing. Do you think that there's any merit to this whatsoever, or do you think it's just weirdos being weird?
Yeah, it's just weirdos being weird. That's literally all it is. It's just weirdos being weird, and it's basically like you said, like they want the smaller guys. Yeah, they basically want the smaller guys to be at the top because they can identify with these guys. They can't identify with someone as big as like a Psycho Sid Vicious or anything like that, because it's like, because basically it's like they identify the people basically, like Spike Dudley and shit, because it's like they see themselves like, hey, if Spike can do it, I can do it.
But it was almost like a gimmick back in the day, like those wrestlers, like especially in those weight classes, it was almost like a fun gimmick, to see like Spike Dudley get tossed through a table or something, just like it was that kind of thing.
That's why they loved Mick Foley so much.
Right.
Yeah. Now, Cassie, I know you like the underdog here. You're a residential underdog supporter here. So, what is your thoughts on this whole thing? Do you think there's any real merit to the argument here, or do you see it a different way?
Well, I mean, I kind of have mixed opinions on it. Now, what Booker T said, I don't think is bad at all. He gave a recommendation to try and avoid injury. I mean, there's no guarantee that if Adam Cole was in better shape that he would have avoided the injury, because a lot of this shit is by chance anyway. But getting into better shape is a way to try and prevent injury. And as for me personally, I know that wrestling is staged, and the thing that I personally do love about wrestling is the fact that ideally nobody gets hurt at the end of the day. We play pretend, we have a staged battle, and at the end of the day, everyone can walk away. That's what I ideally hope for every time I do watch a wrestling match. When it comes to Adam Cole, you know, he isn't the ideal looking wrestler, but you can't deny the fact that the dude is talented and unfortunately, you know, he did get injured, and I do wish the best for him on that situation. Hopefully he does get into better shape because overall that means better quality of life for him if he does, or at least be more active. Because I also do know he's like a gamer. He Twitch streams. That's a big part of his life. So don't make us gamers look that bad, bro. Like, like, come on, man. Like, you know, at least stay in shape, do the right thing. But I love underdogs. I mean, one of my favorite wrestlers, I mean, Darby Allin. He's the little motherfucker that's nuts and can do it all. Like, you know, but even Darby Allin stays in shape despite him being so tiny.
Yeah.
You know, and I support the women getting into shape too, because I know, like some of y'all have some feelings about like brolic chicks in wrestling, but I mean, I support it because they're in shape. They have a very like when it comes to wrestling, it takes a lot of power and ability, and better shape you're in, the more you can potentially do as a wrestler. So I support, you know, Rhea Ripley getting into the best shape of her life if she can. All of them. It's not just. I mean, we've established that women's wrestling isn't always necessarily about looks, and I always support like gimmicks getting over, even if you're not the best wrestler. Like any way to get yourself over, you know, at the end of the day, I support if it's good. So, you know, and it's just, you look at people like Nia Jax. Like Nia Jax is the person that's like, oh, I'm so happy and I'm proud of being a big bold woman, and then she's wondering why she had to have fucking double knee surgery at the age of like
Yes.
what 30. And it's just like, you know, you're doing a very strenuous exercise and you're extremely heavy. So that's just what's going to happen. And
Yep.
you're going to rip your body to shreds if you're that heavy. So I support, you know, anybody getting into better shape. You know, at the end of the day, it's their personal choice. But, you know, Adam Cole, I hope he gets better.
And another thing, I heard like The Rock's daughter, even though she's really hasn't done anything in wrestling yet, she's already had like 3 major knee surgeries. She's only like 21 years old, which is absolutely insane too. Which is kind of a telltale that, you know, this might not be the career choice for you if you've already had that many surgeries before you even actually done anything in the business. But
well, her dad, you know, The Rock was, thing is, he played with on like the best Miami Hurricanes defense of the era. I mean, and there were amazing teams, and he was the odd guy out that just got hurt over and over and over again and never was able to stay on the field long enough to. So I think that's kind of interesting. But
yeah, but I mean, I don't think she's gonna. Well, I don't know. Maybe the Hurricanes couldn't either. They're not very good.
I don't know.
I think it's been a while since the Miami Hurricanes have been relevant. But yeah, so I mean, the whole thing that I was thinking about this is that, you know, this is narrative. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it, where they don't want. It's not even just like guys who are in bad shapes. We can all agree that Adam Cole is in bad shape. Like he's not like a slouch or anything like that. But obviously, there are some people think, well, maybe this guy should give him a little bit of muscle so he'll look even more impressive in the ring. And then you have the guys like we talked about earlier, like the Mark Henrys and the Canes and the Big Shows, who at one point where they got a little too heavy, and then they were told by management that they have to like slim down and lose weight because you can't just go out there like looking like a slob. And I think this current era of wrestling fans, even wrestlers themselves, have just kind of accepted everyone can be a wrestler no matter like what they look like, even if they're not exactly in the best shape, whether they're, you know, they're either too big, whether they're too small, and things of that nature. But all of these guys consider themselves to be professional wrestlers. Like that's the word that gets thrown around there, pro wrestlers, but they're not really willing to do essentially what it takes to prop themselves up to earn that professional title. Because with the WWE, a lot of people complain about WWE. I complain a lot about WWE for a lot of reasons, but the perception is that you are the number one wrestling promotion in the world. So when you're the number one promotion in the world, there's a certain expectation of, okay, I'm watching the best of the best, right? So when you see guys out there who don't exactly look the part, and this is something that a lot of people can't accept, when it comes to a non-viewer or a casual viewer, someone who just looks at it from like 5 seconds and turns it away, they look at that as like, who are these small guys? Like, who are these guys? Now, you can sit there and explain to them that, oh no, this guy is great in the ring. You should see what he can do. It's like they're not really going to sit there and actually like listen and look at that type of stuff. For some people, it is an eye test, and if something doesn't pass the eye test, they'll look elsewhere. I think that's what's happened with wrestling over the last few years. And I do want to make this point because some people did try to make this point as well. That, oh, well, some of the best guys in the UFC are very, very small guys, which is true, but here's the problem. Those small guys are in their own weight classes. You don't see guys like Alexander Volkanovski, who's probably the best 145 fighter in the world right now. He's not going to fight Francis Ngannou anytime soon because he's going to get slept in like a minute. It's going to be bad. It's going to be ugly. And there's a reason why you don't put guys who are 155 against guys who are 205. Like there is a real thing when it comes to weight difference in MMA. Now with pro wrestling, you can play around with things like weight difference because hey, it's not 100% real, but you still have to keep it within the realm of reality and in the realm of the world of trying to make it seem like it's a real fight. People will point to Rey Mysterio. Well, Rey Mysterio won a lot of matches, and he would beat guys who were bigger than him, but he would not sit there and dominate matches against guys who were 150 pounds bigger than him. You would always have to be faster than his opponent. You'd always have to outsmart his opponent. And you'd always have to take advantage of his opponent's mistakes. That's how Rey Mysterio has wrestled for the last 30 years of his career. Some of these guys like Adam Cole, even though they're like 150 pounds, go out there and they try to fight guys like a Samoa Joe, who's probably twice his size at this point in time, and fight him in a one-on-one match and win. But then people look at that, it's like, okay, how did that small dude big up that way bigger dude? He should have fumbled him in a couple of minutes. But they don't use that type of psychology when it comes to modern day wrestling. So do you think that that's an issue with the way things are run today? I'll start with Cassie and I'll go around.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be at least a semblance of realism. It would be nice. I mean, I'm open to a lot of things. Overall, though, I think that when it comes down to it, Adam Cole's getting up in age. If you want to continue in this business, he's like in his mid-30s at this point. If you want to continue in this business, you're gonna have to adjust to situations. But yeah, I mean, I would like for there to be a little more realism involved. That's what makes things interesting. But I also like wild, stupid shit. I love Orange Cassidy. The motherfucker is ridiculous. It makes like the dude doesn't want to do anything. That's what makes him so great. I mean, they call him the king of sloth style because he just wants to lay around. I mean, I love that shit too. But Adam Cole's gimmick in particular, he takes himself as a serious wrestler. So you definitely should probably, get that over in your physical appearance. I do agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, and real quick before I go to TW, there's always been dumb, stupid shit in wrestling. If you guys saw the Jackass match that WWE put on at WrestleMania this year, that was probably the dumbest, stupidest thing that's seen in professional wrestling all year. But the people loved it because, we got to see Wee Man scoop slam, what's his name, Sami Zayn. And then you can see Johnny Knoxville do a spot fight. Like, everyone accepts, okay, this is just going to be a ridiculous match, and we're going to have fun with it. Those things are fine if you're going to do it in wrestling, but you have to pick a line. Are you going to do the stupid, goofy stuff, or are you going to be the serious competitor? Because it doesn't always work when you try to do both. I'll go with TW on this one.
I don't know how much I'll have to add. I'm not really a wrestling fan. Haven't watched it in a long time. But yeah, like the dude just really needs to get in like shape and shit, man. Like that's just it, because it's not even so much a wrestling thing. It's like a TV thing. If you're gonna be on TV, you gotta look the best you gotta look the best possible because you're being shown to millions of people. Like that's just really how it is. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have too much to add on that subject.
Robert, before we go to you, then we'll move on.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched wrestling in 20 years, but and some of my favorite stuff really was with wrestlers who were not in shape. Okay, guys like in the ECW, New Jack and Tommy Dreamer and Shane Douglas and the Sandman. These guys would get cracked open, their head cracked open every Saturday night, and it would be great. But it was like they're not in good shape. Some of these guys were drunk at the time. It's just
are.
Right. It's just a crazy kind of environment. And so was that good wrestling? Probably not. But I loved it, as a kid. And then going into the Attitude Era, it was great. When what was it, like when Shane McMahon jumps off the very top or whatever on the Big Show or whatever, like that's great stuff. That's crazy. The crazy Hell in the Cell matches that the Undertaker and Mankind did were amazing. But like, would they be as impactful if the wrestlers weren't, didn't fit the bill? It's all part of the visual package. I would say that also Rey Mysterio. I remember a very this memorable match he did with the Giant in WCW, the big show before he went over to the WWE, and like I think he almost beat him, but he ended up getting like choke slammed, and the Giant won anyway. So, but it was stuff like that was fun to watch as a kid. So, and granted, I haven't watched it in 20 years, but I would imagine it's kind of short on that kind of stuff these days.
Yeah, it hasn't progressed very well. But like I said, there's always been smaller guys in wrestling. I mean, look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I dislike every single small guy. One of my favorite tag teams back in the day were Too Cool. Remember Too Cool? They were the two white guys, dressed as wiggers, who would dance around like all day. They were one of the most over acts in the entire company because they were so goofy and they were so funny that everyone loved them, right? Guys like Crash Holly, who his whole gimmick was that he was running around in airports while people were trying to pin him for the 24/7 championship. Like, even had to defend his title at like a ball pit at like a McDonald's at one point. That's just some of the things they've done. It's like, guys can be entertaining when they're in their right place, but when you don't put them in the right place, it doesn't come off as great. And I think there's a thing with like modern wrestling fans that they're trying to change that, but they're not really having much success. I mean, look at how many people are watching now compared to how many people are watching then. I mean, we're essentially arguing about television shows that if you're WWE, you have maybe 2 million people still watching. If you're AEW, you're probably pulling around 1 million, and then you have a few 100,000 watching anything below that. So, and at the end of the day, it's like you're trying to fight a reality, but it may not be a winning battle. So we're gonna go ahead and move on here to our next topic. We're done talking about people being outraged and having meltdowns and all this whole stuff. Let's talk about corporations being angry and having meltdowns. Let's talk about Netflix. They're losing a lot of money right now. I don't know if you know this, but they are what they like to say bleeding funds currently. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pop this up here. Netflix is laying off a lot of people, and it's the largest turn down. So 300 employees have been axed in the largest layoff since the subscriber downturn. So what happened earlier this year is that they had a projection of how many people were going to be was going to be subscribed to Netflix over this year, but they missed that number by a lot. As a matter of fact, they ended up losing subscribers. They lost about 2 million, and then when they realized that they were going to be losing even more than that, that's when the stock price absolutely tanked. I'll bring up the stock price here in a second, but so the bloodletting at Netflix continues on Thursday as the streaming service, the number one streaming service in the world, just by how many people are subscribed to Netflix, did one of their largest layoffs in the first quarter. They handed out 216 pink slips to staffers in both the U.S. and Canada, with the remaining cuts for people around the world. So they're downsizing. In May, said that they had laid off 150 people, or 2% of their workforce, as part of ongoing efforts to cut spending amidst a catastrophic subscriber forecast. They said that Netflix could lose up to 2 million subscribers in the coming months after they unexpectedly lost 200,000 subscribers in the first quarter of this year. Now, obviously, there's been an economic downturn, so as far as the market goes, it looks like it could get even worse moving forward with how many things have happened with Netflix. They're not really gaining subscribers, and they're not really producing a lot of content that would gain subscribers. Now, I wanted to put this over. I have watched, if you go on Netflix right now, they have season 2 and season 3 of All That, which I guess they cut a deal with Paramount to bring that in. But here's the thing. The catch is that they don't have any of the rights to any of the musical performances. So it's literally just like about less than 20 minutes of sketches for only the second and third season. And that's what they pretty much have, right? But they're so desperate for money, they're so desperate for content, and now they're going back to other streamers like Paramount Plus, like Disney Plus, and they're trying to essentially get those companies, those corporations, to lend them content for their streaming services to get people back to Netflix, because over the last couple of years they've lost a number of people due to the fact that now we have Disney Plus. So Disney took all of their content off of Netflix and put it on their own streaming service. HBO Max did the same. Paramount did the same. All these other companies are now coming up there, and they're finding a very hard time competing with these companies. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to throw this up here on here too, because this shows you how bad they're really doing. This is Netflix stock price. So right now it's at $190, right? Now they're up 9% on the day. They had a big day on the market. Now you think that this is a good thing, right? Well, if you use the year calculator and see what their stock price was this time last year, last year their stock price was $518.06. It's now down to $190. So they have lost nearly 70% of their stock price in just 1 year. And so this just goes to show you how bad Netflix is doing overall at this moment. I mean, we talked about it. We've even talked about it on multiple shows, how the content on Netflix just isn't very good. Like, everything on there is woke. Everything on there is just either like a 2-star, like, okay, I will watch this once and never watch it again. They don't have good quality. They're massively in debt because they spend billions of dollars to produce this stuff that nobody watches past one season. They're hurting right now. And then the economy is not getting any better. Other people are being laid off from their jobs right now as well. So it's not like people are going to have $20 a month to shell to watch garbage Netflix shows. So what do you guys think about the future of Netflix? You think that they're in more serious trouble than what the stock prices show, or what do you think of the streaming service in general? I'll start with Rob.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, I kind of thought that this would happen sooner, with them kind of crashing a bit. They have not done a good job since they went to their model of original programming. Sort of over the deals they cut with the other production companies and television studios, because that's when they were at their best. That when Netflix was at their best, it was because they had a relationship with stars, and they had different movies every month that people wanted to actually watch. And their original content has never moved the needle, other than 2 movies that I can think of on the top of my head. One was The Irishman by Martin Scorsese, and the other was Hold the Dark by Jeremy Saulnier. And both those movies are not for like the average movie-going audience, even, because The Irishman is almost 4 hours long. Even though I love it and I love that milieu, the gangster movie, most people are going to fall asleep, or they're just not going to stay awake for the whole movie, or they're just, in terms of paying attention to it. And Hold the Dark is a weird, like, metaphor-laden action mystery, so it's like, that's not really, it's very elliptical and kind of hard to follow for a lot of people. And so it's outside of those 2 art movies, it's like they've produced a lot of badly made, contrived, like, woke crap, and their original series aren't really good. I mean, House of Cards is probably still their best television series, and Kevin Spacey obviously didn't leave it that well. So it's like, I like Snowflake Mountain. I'm going to definitely watch that. It's coming out. And I like their comedy specials, but outside of that, I really don't watch Netflix unless I have to.
So what do you think of the Netflix? Do you watch Netflix, TW? Are you familiar with their content?
Honestly, not at all. I watch HBO Max, Pluto, Tubi. The only good things that Netflix really has, or like, for me personally, are like Seinfeld and I think Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Other than that, there's just really no reason for me to watch Netflix whatsoever, because even one of their shows, F is for Family, even you could see that on Pluto TV. So, yeah.
So, Cassie, what do you think of Netflix's great content of films and movies?
It's Lifetime television for losers. That's what their original content is. It's just fucking stay-at-home mom simulator. Like, it's like, well, Oprah doesn't exist anymore, so let's take over that demographic. Yeah. That's pretty much like, honestly, I unsubbed from Netflix after they defended sexualizing little girls in front of grown-ass people with that whole cuties thing. Like, I cut that shit off immediately. And what we're seeing is like a circular firing squad situation with Netflix because, well, they're hemorrhaging money, they're hemorrhaging subscribers, and the good content that got those subscribers, they're not going to do anymore. Stuff like The Irishman, for example. And so, and with the fact that all these other streaming services are taking over, people aren't going to go back to Netflix because, well, what the fuck you got for me there and that I can't get better elsewhere? They don't, they aren't really aiming high. They just want to, at this point, they just want to stop the bleeding and hopefully sustain their subscriber base, which I don't really think is going to happen, especially when streaming is becoming the new cable television.
When they spend a ton of money every single year to get one of their piece of crap movies, like this year was Power of the Dog, to get a Best Picture, and they keep trying, and the Academy are just like, fuck off. And again, the Academy is not something I hold up anymore either. You know, when I was growing up, I liked watching the Oscars growing up. They turned into a complete shit show the last 10 years. And in all reality, they never meant anything. But, you know, whatever. We all have our things we grew up with. So, but it's like, even they're just like, make a better movie than that, please.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. Our good friend, the face that runs the place, Mr. Condescending Josh, who's joining us now. So he's been sitting in listening to our conversations all night. I know he had a little bit of audio issues, but is that a new mic that I'm seeing right now?
Right, yeah, that's the one thing that was actually, you know, holding me from joining the conversation though. But then I've been listening to, you know, all the way through. So But well, first of all, hello, Rob Mozzo, DW, Cassie, and obviously you, Jacob, as well. Dude, that was like, I've been working on this. Oh, right, yes. Thank you. Hello, Spencer. Right, finally,
Spencer,
yes.
Spencer, who's been very quiet up to this point.
He promised he would be drunk on Friday. Well, I promised to Jacob. I didn't promise. No. I promised I would be drunk. I promised I would not be making a scene. So
yes.
Right,
if you're functioning drunk, then you're fine.
Yes, functioning. Yes, functioning hangover as well. So yeah, that's a good thing. Always the good thing. So I've been enjoying the whole thing, right? So of course it was nothing, baby. I don't know.
We were talking about
not kept up with that.
So we were talking about Netflix. So Netflix is obviously losing a lot of subscribers. They're losing a lot of money. They're laying off people. Their stock price is tanking. And their content just isn't good. So I want to get your thoughts about Netflix as a streaming platform. Like, what do you think their biggest issue is right now?
Well, here's the thing, though. I do believe that they still have a few shows that are worth watching, right? Like Cobra Kai is not bad. It's actually pretty good, right? And then there's the whole thing about, like, I didn't watch House of Cards, but my brother watched the show. He loved it, but he's a self-proclaimed Marxist. So I don't know, mate. It's probably pandering to his demographic. I don't know, not mine.
Well, if he doesn't like it, then who else is going to like it?
Oh yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know because I haven't seen it. But you know, like this right. So this content, like I know Cassie brought up the cuties thing, right? So that was actually pretty, you know, shameful for Netflix. But there's this new policies in there as well, aren't there? The thing that for starters, I think they're introducing ads, right, to every single one of their shows, right? So
yes, which is
thing. So that is
which
really
shows you how desperate they're getting, right?
Oh boy.
Well, they are. And what is it? Well, there's so many controversies though, but yeah, that was at top of my head. That was like the one thing that I was like, yeah, no, don't introduce. Oh, the other thing is right, so now you can't, apparently, it's just for one household, you can actually have 4 accounts. Or like 4 screens, they call them the screens, right? So you can actually hire, not hire, but your plan, your subscription, basically allows you to have 4 different profiles.
I think you have to pay extra for that now, don't you?
No. Oh, yeah, no, you don't really have to pay extra. You pay extra if these, the IPs are different than, you know, than than the ones that the owner of the thing, the one who's actually paying for the bill.
Yeah, the main account.
Right. Yeah, that's basically. I don't even know how to explain it though. Look, I promise I would be drunk. So I'm a man of my word, mate.
So I just want to show you guys on here. So this is obviously some of the most popular shows that are on Netflix. This is essentially what they sell their streaming service on. So Stranger Things has obviously got a lot of hype and a lot of promotion. I think they're doing their final season. If they haven't already done it, it's going to be done soon. So a lot of people are talking about that. The Umbrella Academy, which I personally haven't seen. I only know it because Ellen Page is on that show. And yeah, we all know about that whole situation.
Did you just misgender her? Him?
No. Actually, I didn't misgender.
I'm sorry,
him.
Alan Page.
I dead named. Yeah,
Alan Page. I'm not that.
Hey, oh gosh.
Sorry. No wait. What is it?
Ezekiel Page.
That's it.
Yeah, Ezekiel Page. Yeah. Then Squid.
Full disclosure. Right? Juno came out when I was 18. Kind of had a crush on Ellen Page. So this is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
That is weird though, because I was like, what, in 2006 or 7?
2007.
Right?
I was 18.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Right. 2007. I was like 53 at the time. So yeah, let's try to do the maths. No, I wasn't 53, of course.
Yeah, that's a little.
That's really
Yeah,
sweet,
but it's the same. Yeah, no, I don't know, because somebody. I don't want to name names though. Somebody said I was old last time, right? Because of the grey hairs. Somebody said something like that. I can't even remember who it was. I won't remember.
It's probably Kathy.
Yikes.
I'm 33 and my gray hairs are coming in, so whatever.
Hey, like I said, gray hair looks good on men.
Oh yeah, no, but I didn't remember. I don't remember who it was, right? So I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. Yeah, no.
I mean, hold on, you got Squid Games here. Squid Games, Peaky Blinders. The Lincoln Lawyer. I don't even know what that is. So apparently, Nev Campbell.
Oh yeah, that's a movie that's got made into a TV show because that was Matthew McConaughey was in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
yeah, I
okay.
remember that movie.
Ozark.
It was okay.
Obviously, Cobra Kai is on our list.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yeah, then a lot of stuff is the stuff that they poach from like other networks like Paramount and stuff like
ABC.
that. Like few Warner Brothers. Yeah, a couple of Warner Brothers stuff is on here too. So I mean that's pretty much like it. So it's like what is the draw of spending $20 a month on Netflix in the year 2022? Like, how do they even get out of this? It's like you can't really turn this around with content because your content stinks. So how do you turn the ship at this point?
I don't know how they can. I just hope like Seinfeld goes to like more sites than just fucking Hulu and Netflix.
But they still have comedy specials with Jerry Seinfeld though.
Oh yeah, but I like the sitcom much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just wanted to show this real quick because we were just talking about the person who I dead named a couple minutes ago. Anyone remember the name of the movie Super?
I still haven't seen it. It was James Gunn.
Be careful of playing this.
James Gunn.
Really?
Oh yeah, you are on YouTube.
Oh, that is interesting.
Well, let me just skip ahead. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, I haven't seen this, but I know of it.
Who is that?
Ellen Page.
That's Elliot Allen Ezekiel Page.
Went from having a crush on
Ricardo
her,
Page.
on her boobs to having a crush on her pecs now.
Oh no.
Yeah, thank you. That's great.
I'm good.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I play because we're on the
Yeah, exactly.
If you can't laugh at yourself.
They will not freaking, I'm telling you, they will spare no expense copyrighting your ass. Like, boom, get out of there immediately. They don't give a fuck.
You better have an attorney that can go to court and argue fair use.
Real funny, just a quick little side note here. TMZ tried to claim the portion of the Jeff Hardy video that we played last week. Now, keep in mind, we played the video directly from the Florida County Police. So I went and copyright claimed it. I disputed it. I won. And then they decided to do they copyright the long version of it the day later. So I have to send another claim, be like, I just won this claim. You guys went and fucking claimed the other video. Like, are you serious? So I'm still waiting on that one to be cleared up because it's not even TMC's video. So why are they claiming it? But
that's why y'all better start joining us at Odyssey, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Or, I mean, I tell people, because we got a bunch of people on YouTube right now, follow us on Twitch, Side Reviews at Twitch. Because you don't have to worry about the stream getting, cut off for no reason whatsoever on there. Yep. So, but yeah, so they're Netflix is in a world of trouble right now. They're hurting pretty bad. Is there any other is there any other comments you want to make on this story before we move on?
Nah,
Fuck
good.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. At this point, it's like you just have to buy out the competition or something. That's typically how these giant corporations do it. Can't compete, buy the competition.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
but do they even have the money? Do they have the money to buy any competition?
Right. Netflix bought out by Disney next week.
Please don't. Please.
Yeah,
don't.
they might end up selling. They might end up selling. I mean, look at I don't know if you guys know. Well, you guys know of EA. They want to sell off because they lost the rights to FIFA, and they know.
Did they? When did that happen? What?
It got announced like a month or so ago.
Okay.
So they know they ain't making nearly as much money as they used to. Their shit is going down. So they're looking.
Do they still have the rights to Madden? Do they still have the rights to Madden?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Because
it's a big loss for them.
Right, so I knew you guys were talking about Madden. Like, I can't even remember if that was backstage or not. And I was like, dude, what about FIFA? Right now, I got my answer.
Yeah.
I hate soccer, so I don't care.
It's shite. Well, I agree with you. I hate soccer as well. I love football though.
That's a Euro joke. We're not going to acknowledge that one.
Yeah. Another thing too is
don't do me wrong, man.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing too with this precedent that Netflix is setting with how their subscribers can view the content in terms of sharing with families. Don't be surprised if these other streamers these other streaming services start following Netflix's new changes, because look, another comparison is look at Samsung and Android. They end up following Apple's bullshit. They complain about it and try to sell their product as a means of, you get this, and Apple's not doing that anymore. And then they end up following Apple a year later. So, that's one. And a lot of these giant corporations, they're really buddy with each other. It's just they put up the facade that they're competing, but really they're not.
But what is it? There's 6, and we talked about it before. There's 6 companies that own 93% of the media in this country. So it's like when you say that, oh, hey, Netflix, the way to go is basically like becoming a part of a already large corporation. It's like I realize it's probably what's likely, down the road or something. But it's also just like, can we get away from this? Probably not. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's probably what's realistically about to happen, but I'm also just like, I don't know. It used to be better when there was seemingly more competition, and it's like the less companies there get, the worse it gets.
Yeah, that's that media consolidation that's pretty much ruined Hollywood for the most part. But yeah, so Netflix is down. Who knows if they'll be out soon, but they're hurting pretty bad right now. So hey, if you want to get Netflix stock on a deal, you probably should go off that right now. So, let's move on to the next story. And I know we've talked about this so many times. I know a lot of people are sick and tired of it right now, but we have to talk about it again.
Yep.
Ezra Miller.
How did you know?
I actually love this story because it keeps getting better.
I kind of love this story as well.
If your definition of better is far, far worse, then yes, it definitely gets better every week we talk about it. This went from, I guess, attacking women at bars to attacking people doing karaoke to terrorizing the entire state of Hawaii to there was a girl that he may have groomed to a transgender cult, and it's another girl, and then now we're having these allegations that Ezra Miller has been offering haven to a woman and her 3 children on a Vermont farm, claiming that the property is scattered with unsecured firearms. So yes, he's gone full cult leader now, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone full circle. So this is a Spencer article, so punctuation and pronouns is going to be an issue here. So I'm going to try to read this to the best of my ability. It says that a woman and her 3 children. A woman and her 3 children are now being offered haven by the Flash star Ezra Miller on a Vermont farm, and the mother has claimed that the situation is completely safe. Witnesses believe that there's reason to believe otherwise. So real quick, I just wanted to, before we really get into the story, there's been rumors and leaks that Warner Brothers has officially cut ties with Ezra Miller, even though they themselves, and I mean they as in the studio, not they as in Ezra Miller, haven't officially said anything about it.
Mhm.
So the situation is that the situation just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So there's really no point in making a statement and saying, hey, we're aware of the allegations, we're going to look into it. Then something far worse comes out the very next week. They're going to have to make yet another statement on. So they're just laying low right now. But there's a lot of people behind the scenes at Warner Bros. That are very, very upset that this keeps happening. But go ahead.
Russell, this is the one thing that actually been wanting to mention like forever, man. And that's the thing, right? That at one point, Ezra Miller is just actually flat out going to justify his behavior, right? And the other reason why these companies like Warner Brothers and all that, I just just decide basically just remaining silent is because at one point they actually do believe that grooming children will be passed as a law or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the only reason why they're staying quiet is because, we don't really see it as an issue just yet. But at one point, this will be legal, or so they think, because today, the Supreme Court proved them wrong. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So murdering children is not okay, and I'm pretty sure that grooming children is not okay. So.
Yeah, but when your pronouns are they them, you kind of get away with a lot more than some other people would, because you have to remember with the story that you're reading that they got rid of Johnny Depp for far, far less than what's being alleged here. So apparently, Ezra Miller is housing a woman and her 3 kids on a property in Vermont that is said to be a chaotic environment and is unsafe for children, namely due to the unsecured firearms that have just scattered throughout the property. Now, one source has said that they see a woman's 1-year-old daughter pick a loose bullet off the ground and proceed to put it in her mouth. A video provided by sources in support of their claims, reviewed by the Rolling Stones, reportedly shows that there are at least 8 assault rifles and handguns lying around the living room, with some weapons propped up next to a pile of stuffed animals. So this sounds like Cassie Cage's bedroom. Just for the strength of it, but no, the kids involved here. So, further, the pairing told Rolling Stones that the children are regularly exposed to marijuana smoke, inserting that Miller's cannabis use is both frequent and heavy, and done without proper ventilation consideration. One second. It said not only that, the outlet has also learned that Miller has a sizable cannabis farm on the property, which, according to the review of social media pages belonging to the actor's handyman cannabis upstart company, after the actor's handyman and cannabis company upstart partner Whitney Struthers currently holds more plants than the state's 2 manure and immanure plant limits for citizens. So, despite not being among the 25 licensed cultivators who are allowed to grow that much product. So apparently they're having more weed on their farms than was legally allowed by the state of Vermont. But once again, after these allegations came out, the person involved directly with these allegations came out and made a statement saying that, no, these allegations are totally untrue. That the mother herself has denied the claims that her family's in any sort of danger, speaking to Rolling Stones. She says that the actor allowed a place for her to take refuge from her violent and abusive ex, adding that Miller has finally helped me finally have a safe environment for my 3 very young children. Miller's ranch has been a healing haven for us, and they may have firearms for self-defense purposes, and they are stored in a part of the house that the children can never go in. They said my kids are able to relax and more into their healing because of the safety and nurturing Ezra has provided for them. Now, if you remember, there was a woman who was like 12 years old at that time, who's like 18 now, who's pretty much kind of said the same thing, that Ezra has been like a safe haven for her versus, her violent, crazy family. Now, some of the things that I've read on here says that the family is said to arrive on Miller's farm back in April. So this was like really at the height of everything that was going on with the Hawaii stuff. So I don't know how he's traveling between Hawaii and Vermont without anyone noticing. But it says that it alleged that he's been unable. I said this is the father of the woman and the children here. It says alleged that he's been unable to see his children since they've arrived to the farm. The father told the Rolling Stone, "I got a bad feeling in my stomach. I want to go see my kids," he said. "They mean the effing world to me." So this is clearly a domestic situation that Miller has somehow found himself in the middle of. This is not the first domestic situation he has found himself in the middle of, which is asking a lot of questions. Is there something more creepy, maybe borderline sinister going on with Ezra Miller and these damaged individuals that all seem to be find his way into his property? The father informed Rolling Stone that he had been trying to save his children from being removed from the unsafe environment since April, where there's been learnings of unrestricted presence of firearms and drugs on the property. He reached out to the Vermont Department of Children and Family Assistance, those obviously to no avail. To the text messages reviewed by the Rolling Stones following a May 16 wellness check, a Vermont social worker informed the father that everything was fine, the children looked good, but conceded that there's a lot more work to do. Now, they didn't specify what they meant by that, but that's what the worker told the kid's father. It is unknown if the Department of Family Services are going to follow up with another visit. Now, let me see you here. Now, it says here that according to court documents, the mother took legal action against the father regarding one case of domestic abuse, one related to paternity. These allegations were denied by the father. The former case was thrown out after neither one of them appeared in court. Meanwhile, the paternity case has been put on hold due to the court's inability to serve the father. So I'm guessing he's somewhere in the shadows too, along with Miller. Can't be found to be served. I said most recently in April, the father filed a pending domestic case against the mother concerning her relocation of their children to Vermont. So there was an agreement there that she may have violated by moving their children to another state. That's happened in certain cases. As of this writing, Miller has not commented on any of these allegations against him. But this is essentially the new allegation towards Ezra Miller, that he seems to be going around finding these weird, damaged people, and now he's almost treating him like a cult member sort of sense. So I just want to get you guys' reactions on this story. Then I want to do a follow-up on one that we talked about last night. Not last night, but a couple of nights ago on the Blackville stream. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Josh and get your thoughts on what you think about this whole Ezra Miller situation.
Well, the first question is, though, is he still on the run, though? Because if he is, like, obviously he's not going to do any, be doing any commenting on the whole situation. But here's the thing, though.
Yeah, he's the same thing that, still on the run.
Right, still on the run, yeah. But it's basically the same thing that I said about the Warner Brothers situation, all these, big companies as well. I believe that the only reason why they're not manifesting themselves is because they want these laws, that allow them to groom children, basically. They're just kind of waiting, on that. And the only reason why they're not really, being more vocal about it is because I really do believe that they want this whole thing to be legal before they can, because they believe themselves to be on the right side of history as well. So it's like,
I can see that, but at the same time, I don't think that's going to be legalized by the time the Flash releases in theaters next summer. So how long do you hold it out?
I agree 100% with that as well. I don't know, like, and I've been saying this like forever, but I don't know how Warner Bros. Is going to market that movie. I just don't know. Who is going to be the face of the movie? Is it Michael Keaton? Who is it? It's not Ezra Miller. I'm pretty sure it's not. Though, yeah. And that's the only reason. Again, they're not going to say anything, right? So they're not going to say, "Oh gosh, we don't want Ezra Miller." At the moment, Ezra Miller is not even available for for the interviews or like the press tour or whatever for the movie. So who is it?
He's just leaving very creepy Instagram posts telling people to stop fucking with him. He's doing that, but they can't find him.
Right. Yes. No. So I honestly don't know, but I'm really looking forward to see how this whole thing actually develops, because I just really want to see it.
Cassie, what do you think about this whole deal? As the Miller turns.
Basically, when I was looking at the mother talking, she just straight up reminded me of Sharon Stone in Casino with James Woods having abducted De Niro's kid.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yes.
yeah, I'm literally getting those vibes. I think these people are just, this shit needs to end. Like, why is this continuing to go on? Why is more weird shit happening? Ezra Miller, if it was any normal person, they wouldn't have gotten this far. And just
No.
that is appalling to me because it just further exposes that the law is for some people and we selectively enforce laws in this country, which is fucking bullshit. But I'm concerned for the well-being of these children. I don't really understand.
Yeah, that seems. I was just gonna say that seems to be the big thing. It's like obviously there's something going on between the mother and the father. Who knows who's telling the truth between them? They could be just a couple that both parents are bad. Who knows? But there's definitely something going on with these kids, and that's like the big concern.
Yeah, especially when a 1-year-old's putting a bullet in their mouth. Like, what the fuck? And how does this how do they have child services come in and everything is okay? What is their definition of okay?
Mm-hmm. Like, are they okay or is it legal? Because there's two different things about being okay and being like legal. I guess being within the bounds of the law. It's like, well, there's nothing illegal going on in there. That doesn't mean that everything's okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. TTW. What do you think of the never-ending story of Ezra Miller?
Oh man, it's the same shit every time. It just gets worse. It's like this guy just needs to be arrested already. Simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea to at least have someone detain him for a while and maybe ask some questions. Rob.
Well, I mean, it's what is the saddest thing in life? Wasted talent. You know, like I actually think I think Ezra Miller is a really talented young actor who has severe mental illness problems, disconnection from reality, maybe dissociative issues. Maybe he hides behind those ideas of like mental illness to sort of act this way. I don't know. But it's, and he said some really weird stuff in interviews. Like he's been going this non-binary thing for at least 3 or 4 years now, where he doesn't even say that he's a man. The way that police interaction that happened, I don't know if it was a couple months ago now or a couple weeks ago. He just,
I think it was a couple of weeks.
He's tapped into that whole, like, I am whatever I say I am, and I'm above your rules, and I'm from a different universe bullshit. It's unfortunate because, again, I think, especially we need to talk about Kevin, where he plays a very detached from reality psychopath. We did a great job. Now, maybe it's because it hit a little too close to home for him. I don't know. But now he's involving other people. And this is where the law should step in. This is where there should be some urgency in locating him because there are small children involved. But, famous people seem to get away with a lot of shit. So here we are.
Yeah. Hey, you have to start asking yourself because it seems like every single week the story just keeps escalating. I mean, it was only a few weeks ago we were talking about Ezra Miller harassing people at a karaoke bar in Hawaii, right? And now it's come all the way down to he may be housing kids in dangerous environments in Vermont. And then this is on top of the allegations of that he's been grooming certain troubled kids into the non-binary LGBTQ community. And there's been a couple of instances of that as well. So it's like the story keeps escalating. So it's like, where's the story going to finish? Like, is he finally just going to surrender one day and, talk to the cops? Or are we looking at a possible like Waco, Texas situation where he decides that he's not going in and then he's going to stand his ground, and then next thing you know, we have a standoff, like something that we haven't seen in this country for a very, very long time. Like, where is this whole thing going to end with Ezra Miller? Because by next week,
it'll be Dog Day afternoon because he needs to get a procedure paid for that his partner needs. Oh wait, he's rich. Never mind.
Yeah. Spencer seems to believe that Waco is around the corner, and who knows? It very may well be that point. Right now, it's like I don't even we all know that I'm personally not the biggest fan of Ezra Miller. We all established that. I don't like talking about Miller that much, but it's like every week the story changes. So what is it going to be next week? Well, what's going to be the new what's the name escalation of this story like a week from now? I'm pretty sure that the thing keeps progressing. We're going to be talking about it again next week. So what's going to happen? Is he still going to be around in some capacity, or is there going to be like some crazy gunfight on a ranch in Vermont?
Well, that's just one thing I want to say. Right, so you say you don't really like talking about Ezra Miller. I didn't like talking about, for instance, Alec Baldwin. And then suddenly he shoots somebody dead, right? He kills someone. And that was like almost a year ago. And we still don't see the results of nothing, right? So there's no investigation.
Yeah.
He's not going to, I'm pretty sure he's not going to go to jail for that. He's not going to even have to pay for that. Right. I'm like, I know he won't, but and that's the thing, right? So I don't really expect this whole thing to, just to evolve into something a little bit more interesting, because this is just as interesting as it gets, right? So he's not going to fail, right? He's not going to pay for his whatever he's, been doing for all this time, for all these years. Apparently, those grooming allegations, I don't think the whole thing has. I mean, I know that it's got lots of weight to it, but they don't see it that way. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be like, we're just, just going to scrub it, under the rug, and that's whatever, man. Ezra Miller, whatever. He's going to get recast in The Flash, especially because of the multiverse thing. And now we have Johnny Depp, that he's not even the Pirates of the Caribbean movies anymore, right? And I'm like, dude, that is so unfair, especially because there are still people, and the hashtag on Twitter is still trending, the I believe Amber Heard. Fuck off, mate. Honestly, fuck off. And I don't even curse. So there you go.
And I mean, there are people, and that's Twitter, and we've in this episode we've talked about how much it's an echo chamber. But Twitter is full of psychopaths who literally are like, I don't care what the objective truth is. My emotional truth matters more than that. So I don't care if she's actually guilty. She's in the right. And it's just like, you cannot reason with people like that. They're absolutely batshit insane. I'm sorry, I'm doing a white supremacist symbol. Sorry. No, but I mean, sorry. No, but it's just like, those people are crazy, and it's like, it's fun to argue with them just as an exercise, I guess, but it's just like, don't put all your eggs in that basket. Those people are crazy.
It's a lot of unchecked mental derangement that goes on Twitter, and they're so deranged, like they keep running in the same circle to the point where they're insane. They're like a fucking stir crazy dog all day, every fucking day. Yeah.
The term used to be called undiagnosed. It's a term that I like. It's like, that describes a lot of people on Twitter, as we saw earlier today. So, I mean, like I said, I don't know. Like, this whole thing is just crazy to me. Like, we even talked about this earlier this week about how Ezra Miller apparently went to some family and I guess threatened their parents, saying that, your kid is lucky to have someone like me guiding them in life, and he was brandishing a firearm while he said it too, and you just think to yourself, it's like where is this going to end? Like, is someone finally going to step in, or is it just going to be like, oh, something bad is going to happen? Be like, well, maybe if he wasn't a celebrity, we could have stepped in earlier. But it's like, I don't know. So I don't know what to say about this story at this point, because I feel like this thing's probably going to escalate next week, and we'll have to come here and try to make the same statement that we've always made. So, does anyone else have any final statements on this one before we move on to our final topic?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, so Ezra Miller is still nuts. So that's the story. So let's move on to The Closer. And The Closer is a film that we have talked about for, I think it was about the last couple of weeks now, at least. It is the Lightyear movie. Now, last week we talked about Chris Evans' comments, which was basically saying that anyone who had a problem with the same-sex kiss scene that was planted into the movie was a dinosaur who was going to die off, who was an idiot. And it's probably not the best comments to make when your film is being released in movie theaters, because the movie bombed. And not only did it bombed by quite a lot. So if you go here to Box Office Mojo, Lightyear, as of this recording right here on Friday night, has made $104 million worldwide. That's not just in the United States. That's everywhere in the world combined has only made $104 million. So I want to put this out here. that the production budget for this film was $200 million. So we're in the second week, and it hasn't even made up its production budget. If we compare this to Toy Story 4, which was released about 3 years ago, that film made about $1 billion at the box office.
Jeez.
And it had a break even. That film had a break even mark of $700 million. Now, I've said that the break even for this film is probably not as much as that, because obviously they didn't have to pay the big salary for Tom Hanks, for Tim Allen. So we can guess that with marketing and all the payroll stuff, you're probably going to end up somewhere between $500 to $600 million for the break even for this film. This film might not even make its production budget back. This is going to be a massive loser for Disney. Now, some people are trying to tell you that, there was no big expectations of this movie, that no one said that it was going to make so much film. I found this last night, and I sent it to Spencer, and it was absolutely hilarious. So I want to send it to you guys. You guys know Screen Rants, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows about Screen Rant. Mm-hmm. So this is something that they wrote back in May. This was less than a month ago. And the headline is, Lightyear suggests Toy Story will break massive box office record. Toy Story is already one of the most successful franchises of all time, but Lightyear can't help it break a massive box office record. So I just wanted
that
to go
didn't
ahead.
age well.
Not at all. It gets worse. It gets worse. I wanted to see the line right here, because there was a line that I absolutely dropped my jaw when I read this. Give me 1 second to find my spot. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna kind of echo what I said in the review, is that the movie was better. It maybe it could have, because it's like you have a lot of goodwill built up with the audience, and it just, if you put a little bit more effort into the movie and making it a genuine good experience, I think it could have been a lot more successful.
So here we are right here. And I wanted to read this one, and this is from Screen Rants. This is something that they wrote a month ago, by the way. They said, Lightyear is one of the few movies, one of the few 2022 movies expected to make $1 billion at the box office, with lowball predictions putting its box office earnings about $700 million. Where second weekend in, they barely made $100 million second weekend. So I think it's pretty safe to say that $700 million worldwide is probably not going to happen. Lightyear has perhaps received the most promotion out of any 2022 animated movie so far, which means that their marketing budget is massive. And which suggests that it's already in the minds of young families, Pixar animation fans, and those loyal to the Toy Story franchise. Now this is where it really gets big oof right here. It says, he talks about, Elvis, Black Phone, other movies like Jurassic World and Minion. And right here at the bottom it says, however, these features shouldn't keep audiences away from seeing Lightyear during its opening weekend. As such, Lightyear is in a very comfortable position to reach its $1 billion box office estimate. Well, they're about 10% of the way there right now. Unless there's going to be a massive third wave of people running out to see this Disney movie. I don't think that they're going to meet the box office projections that everyone thought that it was. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that I'm wrong, and the break even for this film is in fact $700 million. They only have $100 million so far. I don't think it's going to make any more than 200 when this run is all said and done. You're looking at a possible box office loss of $500 million for this film. $500 million for Lightyear. Now, when you look at Lightyear, obviously a lot of people were talking about the whole controversy between the same-sex kiss thing and the whole couple in that film. There was also talks about, Chris Evans' comments. Well, there was a story that broke later today, and we covered it on Bounding in the Comics, about the fact that the character in the film, Hawthorne, who is the woman who's married to another woman and has raised his kids with another woman, her character was originally not even supposed to be in the film in the early development of the movie. It turns out that they added her character to be LGBTQ after the fact. The original plan for this character was to have Buzz Lightyear be paired up with a fellow female ranger who was going to be his romantic love interest in the film. Now, they said that the reason why they scrapped this idea, because in the mind of director, let me make sure I get his name, Angus McLean, who directed the film, In his mind, he didn't see Buzz Lightyear fitting well with a love interest in the movie. He thought that the storyline wasn't going to work, so they ended up scrapping the idea because he didn't believe that the character of Buzz Lightyear would work in a romantic situation. So once they scrapped the idea of having that character in the film, they added the character of Alicia, and they opted to go down the route of adding LGBTQ representation in the film to make her a lesbian character. And he says that when it was suggested to make Alicia queer a character, it was awesome for two reasons. One, representation, and two, Alicia can live her separate life, and you're never feeling that there's any jealousy there. It's more about how she lived her life and how Buzz had. Now, keep in mind, this is a Buzz Lightyear film, and the focus of the director is about how the side character is living her life versus the main character. So that should have been a red flag there.
These people would realize that this is supposed to be for kids, right?
Oh, they know that it's for kids. They know. They just didn't care.
And then he also. And I just want to say this really quick. I said this in our review. I said it would have made more sense if the Alicia's offspring, her granddaughter, would be directly related to Buzz, so that there's a connection there. Even if Buzz is a little shy at first and kind of is a little slow to warm up, it's like there's stakes here. There's something relevant to these characters caring for one another, and instead they just went off on this kind of other pattern.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
By the way,
to go on,
this is just like one thing that I wanted to mention, because they claim that Buzz Lightyear does not, like, the whole love interest doesn't work, with Buzz Lightyear, and I'm like, dude, since Toy Story 2, he's had love interest, in I forget the name of the character, the cowboy girl, right? And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? For like 20 years, he's had a love interest, even if it's like not a relationship like through and through. We still have seen that, right? And it works just perfectly fine. And now you have the character that's supposedly the toy is based on, and you're telling me, no, that doesn't work. We're just going to throw in a gay kiss, right? So whatever. Right now, I want to watch the Chinese version of the movie, because I'm pretty sure that's a legit version.
Yeah. It actually got banned in China too, so they're not releasing it in China either. So.
Oh no! But I'm pretty sure there exists a Chinese version,
one
regardless. Yes, and it's a better version than the one you guys saw. Which, by the way, I'm sorry for you guys, because you watched that.
It wasn't great, to say the least. But Robert brought up a point about the character of Izzy Hawthorne, who plays the granddaughter of Alicia. And he says that McLean, the director, says that he wanted the film to make it clear that Izzy and Buzz were not love interests, that Izzy could not be seen as Buzz's second chance at an unacquitted romance. Well, obviously, they didn't establish any angle of romance with Hawthorne and Buzz to begin with. So I don't know why he would think that by having Buzz be romantically involved with the original character would have changed that. Now, for those who haven't watched the movie, I won't spoil it too much for you, but
I'm not going to watch it at all.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch it either. Just spoil away, man.
So the whole angle is that they're stuck on a planet. They have to find a way to get out. Buzz goes to hyperspace to test out the ship's capabilities to send them back to their home planet. But every time he makes the test run to jump, he loses 4 years, because when he goes to hyperspace, the time is completely different, right? So every time he makes the jump, 4 years pass. So each time he goes up there, so everyone else on the planet is aging completely like without him, right? And then Hawthorne ends up getting older, and then the whole thing with the gay kiss that everyone's talking about is that every time he comes back, Hawthorne gets a little bit older with her wife. They ended up getting pregnant, which they don't explain in the movie at all, like how she got pregnant, even though she's with another woman. So they just threw that completely out the window. And then it's like the kid gets older, and then it's like, oh, now the kid has, the girlfriend, and now they have a baby, and now it's all about Hawthorne's granddaughter. And another thing that I didn't like, and we talked about this on the review, that they made no reference to Izzy's parents anywhere in this film. Like, they kind of just don't exist. Like, in the movie, you're like, well, are the parents still alive? Like, obviously the grandmother is dead, but where's her parents? They would still be around somewhere. So she's only a teenager. She's not like a 40-year-old woman. But once again, the heterosexuality is not allowed in this film.
Yeah, what do you mean? Straight parents? What are you talking about? People
And-
don't born that way.
And did everybody notice too that like they did every time they went to Buzz, he was noddingly approving of like you know the progression.
Everything
in the
except for like
family?
going like this.
It was
Yeah.
like okay. They made
no.
the main character a secondary character. It was just sad.
Did he
Haven't-
really?
haven't
Did he
you
really
guys
do the
got
thumbs up though? Hold on, go on, Cass.
No, I was saying, haven't you guys got it yet? They want to tell you that men aren't needed in society, so fuck off.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
call
Yeah,
the
but
movie
literally-
Buzz
Fuck right
Lightyear
off, mate.
then. Just
You know why that's
Men
funny?
are not allowed.
Because literally men built all of Western civilization. So even if it was like the most terribly sexist whatever thing, all that we have is because of men. And I mean, yes,
Wait, hold
women-
on. Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but hold on. Cassie actually makes a pretty good point because if I didn't see the movie, but if Buzz is actually leaving every 4 years or whatever, and he's coming back, it's like, mate, every 4 years we already got a baby. Buzz left, and he's coming back. It's like, of course we don't meet men, right? Just to do this thing that we don't even explain how we did. We already got a baby, but no, men were not involved in this, mate.
Yeah.
Men aren't needed to have children, man. Don't you get it? They're not needed at all.
Just
This is
leave for
something-
4 years.
This
Or
is
whatever.
something we brought up with Matt. Matt's movie reviews, who did the film with us as well, and he was like, "Yeah, I have 2 kids, so if I go see my kids go watch this film, and there's 2 a lesbian couple, and one of them gets pregnant, and they don't explain how they get pregnant, when I have to explain to my kids how the fucking 2 ladies with no male involved somehow managed to get pregnant." It's like that's a conversation that I don't want to have. Yeah, that's a conversation I don't want to have. My kids just go watch a Buzz Lightyear movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But to get a little deeper into the story, then you start to understand why they put all of this stuff in this movie. It's because everyone who worked on this movie is part of the LGBTQ community. And McLean talks about, we had a lot of queer personnel on our film. Says Lightyear's queer staff included our animators and our editors, and who shepherd the character to get it right. There was a lot of fantastic representation. That means a lot more than I can understand. For them to be excited to have that and be so personal to them, it means a lot to me. So this was essentially a film that was created by a bunch of people in this community that they were going to pat themselves on the back about. It's like, hey, we finally got a queer character in a Disney movie. And it made a lot of money. Oh, wait, actually, it didn't make a lot of money. It actually bombed. It could be one of the biggest bombs, if not the biggest bombs in Pixar history. So,
do you remember?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Do you remember the last movie Pixar made? Do you remember what that
That
movie
Turning
was?
Red? Was it Turning Red, right?
But the one prior to that, it was Luca.
Luca, yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
Luca was actually getting backlash because it was not featuring the main characters as gay. That's what it was, because they were friends, right? And it already, right, so that's the thing. And this is the reason, or they already did the other thing. I didn't watch the other movie. I'm sorry. I didn't watch the other movie. But then Buzz Lightyear is like, we're going to just throw in this gay kiss or whatever to address all of the concerns that probably were raised before, back when we were promoting Luca. That is not a gay story, but it got backlash because it wasn't, an ally movie or whatever.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they wanted to be something that it wasn't, and that was why they were upset.
And that's my point. Buzz Lightyear was not supposed to be as woke as it was, right? And the only reason why they threw in all of these gay characters and whatever is because, we didn't actually give them all the representation that they needed, the alphabet people. I'm just going to call them the alphabet people because it's not gay, lesbians or whatever. It's the alphabet people. If I'm talking about the alphabet people, it's the left-wing crazy activists, that they call themselves to be part of that, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? So it's the alphabet people. It's the ones that get upset because of stuff like this in movies. And I think that's actually the result of that. And, it's funny as well, because the fact that the movie is bombing is also the result of that pandering.
Yeah. So they made the people behind.
Wait, hold on.
The actual audience is completely trashed.
I want to interrupt you. I'm sorry, Jacob, man. But Rob Meister wanted to say something, and I interrupted him as well. So,
no, I mean, I think I mostly lost what I wanted to say, but basically, I'm not an animated movie guy. I'm not an kids movie guy. So
I
haven't even seen the second Toy Story. So that was great that you told me that about Buzz's love interest. Because like I try to more or less, watch. I don't want to. I don't want to like box myself in, but there's a lot of older movies I really want to get to, and so I kind of leave the animated and kids movies to where they are. But I'm not the target for this, but if I can see that coming from a mile away, granted, I watch a lot of movies, but it's like if I can see that and it's like it's obvious to me and the movie isn't good on top of it, that's a terrible formula to try to to try to create something successful. And then them putting it back in because of the Don't Say Gay bill too, like them saying that they were gonna, it's just all this ridiculous culture war shit. And it's like, a couple years ago, I didn't even know this stuff existed. I was blissfully unaware, and now it's now it's everywhere. I can't not see it. So I just wish Hollywood would go back to just telling good stories, making good entertainment, and leaving the politics out of it because it's awful. It's just it drags the movie down.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Cassie? I'm
thinking that Pixar, whatever, needs to make cheaper shit if they're going to continue to make shit because I mean personally I hope their next fucking film they make is like $1 billion just to produce, because if they spent this much money making this bullshit, I would love to see them fail on an even grander scale. But they better start making some lower tier shit if they want to actually possibly start making money, because people are tired of your nonsense. And not for nothing, I think that everyone in Hollywood now calls themselves a part of the LGBTQ plus ABC, whatever. I mean, like, think of it this way. You'd be at a huge detriment if you're not. Like, all these people want to do is virtue signal. I would say it.
How many people?
I say that I am just to have some form of protection on social media sites. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck what people think of me. So if I have some extra protection on my side, I would go for it. Hell, they get opportunities just by saying, "Oh, I'm a lesbian," or "I'm gay." Like, just say you're trans, and you get all these opportunities not based on your merits, but based on, well, this person fits a diversity quota. So hey, let's hire them. So at this point, I think everyone in Hollywood is a part of the LGBT.
I was just gonna say really quick.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say really quick. How many women in Hollywood do you know over the last few years who have come out as bisexual as they're currently in relationship with men? Exactly.
Yep.
Lily Singh.
Yep. A lot of people.
Go ahead, Josh.
Oh no, I was done, man. I can't even remember what I was saying.
Well, I want to say something real quick. I have been fighting so hard, in terms of like on film Twitter with my opinions in terms of people who bitch about representation. I cannot fucking stand. Okay. Look, I think it's important. I think it's important to have a good, diverse cast of characters in all kinds of movies, just because like it makes things interesting, but actual diversity, not just like tokenism. Not just saying, hey, this one's about a black person and it's important because they're black. That's not, no one is ever going to give a shit about that. And if you really loved Moonlight and are proud that it won an Academy Award, okay, fine. I think it's a terrible piece of shit movie. And you have, like, that's fine. You can have that opinion. That's great. You like Jojo Rabbit. You like these movies. To me, these are pieces of crap, and not that Jojo Rabbit had a representation issue, but like, what was that? Blind spotting, where the guy raps at the cop who because he wants to avoid going to jail on a probation rap. And it's just like, look, I get that people are emotional about the attitudes of police and all this shit. And it's like, you can make a good movie, but something that ideologically embarrassing is like that. You're proud of that kind of representation. I would be personally embarrassed. And so this argument about representation, it's like, oh, you just want more black leading roles, or you want more female leading roles, or you want more trans leading roles. And it's like, it's not about telling good stories. It's about a political ideology. This is about you promoting something else entirely. And all of the film schools now push this this propaganda. And it's like, it has nothing to do. America is still 65% white. Black population is still 13% of the population. We still have the same numbers. And so if you want to argue anything, you could argue that that you have black Americans are overrepresented in movies and media. You could argue that Asians are underrepresented, but hey, we're in the West. They have a whole part of the world to themselves with their own film industry. So anyway, I'm going to ramble on and on because the representation argument drives me insane.
Right. I actually want to back your argument up as well, right? Because in Britain, it's actually believed that at least 70%, and honestly, this is not me making this up, like at least, 70% is straight, and 30% of people are, part of the alphabet people. Yeah. That is not true. It's like less than 1%. But the problem is that representation has made everyone believe that there are a lot of people underrepresented in Britain. And it's like, it's less than 1%. But you see all of these, like, I don't know, man, like 7 or 8 out of the 10 commercials that you see on, television are, about like minorities and, alphabet people and all that stuff. And it's like, mate, that is not right. That is, honestly, where is this narrative? And the problem is that they're really succeeding because they're really pushing this narrative. Well, it's that minorities are actually majorities, and that is not true.
Well, it's a victim culture like that. Yeah. They're called victim narratives because they just play in the head over and over and over again. People telling themselves, "Yes, I'm a victim. I can't win. The deck is stacked against me." All this fucking negative bullshit. And it perpetuates into media, into these terrible movies that are basically like, who wants to watch these victim driven movies of where you can't win? There's no heroic attributes whatsoever. And so it's just like, who wants to watch that?
Yeah. Rob brings up, my bad. You want to finish up? Oh, I was just going to say that Rob brings up another good point that I'm half Puerto Rican. So if you make a film that represents my culture and it's a piece of shit, I'm gonna find it fucking offensive. Like, stop. You not only do you want to go with all this diversity shit, that's false representing our society, but then you make garbage and then it just makes people mad. Like, I would be pissed if you make a movie that completely just is garbage. Like, if you're gonna make something that's supposed to be like representative and supposed to be inspired by a particular culture, don't make shit, because then I'm gonna feel some type of way about it.
Yeah.
And
go ahead, TW. No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say something that's like completely a little bit unrelated, but it kind of brings me like into like the video I made earlier, like the response to Finn McKenty and all that. And it's like his videos kind of like how like females are underrepresented in the world of like rock and metal and stuff like that because people just judge them on their appearance and not their talent. Well, maybe it's the fact that maybe there's just none of those types of groups, the female fronted groups, that have just really made that big of a splash, at least not in a while. Because there have been plenty of great female fronted groups out there. Yeah, like Blondie, Susie and the Banshees, Fleetwood Mac. So it's like this whole thing of like, females are underrepresented in the world of like rock and metal, or just that whole thing of people being underrepresented. I think these people don't do enough research and just want to like Rob said, use that whole victim mentality and shit. It's just ridiculous.
Well, it's like, be a great individual, whatever you are. Like, why are you using excuses to not do something?
Exactly.
To me, it's the laziest sort of like miscalculation of a way of looking at yourself. It's a weak-minded loser mentality. And trust me, and it's not even like I just discovered that. I've been saying this shit for 6 years on Twitter every day, and I got called racist and sexist, and because I didn't like Black Panther. God, what a piece of shit movie! Like seriously, it wasn't even a good Marvel movie.
It's about
movie. It wasn't even a good Marvel movie. So
hold on a second. You trying to tell me that the movie where the bad guy wants to basically start a race war, a global race war with Wakandian weapons, that's a bad movie?
And then you have articles saying he was an anti-hero. He wasn't even a villain. And it was like, okay, whatever.
He said he was going to kill their children. Like,
seems pretty bad to me, but that's
yeah. But I mean, yeah, that's the thing. These people, especially behind the camera, like I said, a lot of people always ask is like, why do they make stuff like this? Who are they making it for? They're making it for the people behind the camera. Like that's like all he talked about. Like, oh yeah, we have such a queer community behind the scenes. It's like this film is important to them and only them. This isn't made for the masses. This isn't made for mass consumption. This wasn't a film thinking that, oh, if we put this out there, we're definitely going to make $1 billion. They thought to themselves, hey, Toy Story is a big property, so if we put all of our agenda into this movie, then everyone's going to go see it. And the exact opposite happened. Now we're talking about possibly losing what? $500 million when it's all said and done. Like I said, I don't see any way, shape, or form that this movie makes anywhere near $200 million when it's all said and done. It's not even, it's barely past the $100 million. We're at week 2 now. There's not going to be a bunch of families going out there to watch this. And there's the other thing. The families are their target demographic for this film. Like I hear people complaining all the time, like, well, why are you angry at the same-sex couple, but you don't get mad when there's a normal heterosexual couple in the movie? Because that's the target demographic. They're family movies. The idea is that a man and a woman are going to take their young kids to the movie theater together to go watch the film and be entertained and laugh. But if you have spite those people, if you have disdain towards traditional families, guess what? They're not going to spend a lot of money to go watch the film because I don't know if you check, but with inflation, movie tickets are not cheap. Gas prices are not cheap. No, concessions, they're not cheap. Families are going to have to be very, very motivated to leave the house to go watch movies like this. And if they see this type of stuff on here, if Chris Evans is out there making the comments that he's making towards people who have a problem with this, they're going to be like, you know what, let's wait 3 weeks and just go watch Minions instead. And that way we don't have to watch this movie at all. And then what's going to happen?
Mate, you're not understanding. The problem is Russia is not the quality of the movies.
Oh, yeah.
It was fucking Putin.
It was always Putin, yes. What's the best part of the movie? Well, Lightyear.
The end. That's the best part of the movie.
I mean, the cat.
Spoil it.
Honestly, like the only real good part was maybe like the first 5 minutes or so. That was pretty decent, but outside of that, there wasn't anything like memorable about the film. Like it was just there. Like, and that's another reason why no one's going to watch it. The buzz about the film wasn't even that, ironically, but the buzz about the film wasn't even that good. It's like people were like, yeah, no, this isn't even a good movie. So it's like, okay, then I'm definitely not gonna go watch this. It's like it's not getting like the word of mouth that like Top Gun is getting, where Top Gun is gonna ironically make $1 billion because everyone keeps saying how amazing it is. People tell them to go watch it, but it's like with Lightyear, like what was the buzz? Like what's the draw while watching this movie? There's nothing. Like the people the people who did the film hate you. The star hates you, and then it's not even the true Buzz Lightyear. This isn't Tim Allen in the old school Toy Story. So why would you want to go your family to go spend hundreds of dollars to watch it in the theater? There's no draw to this movie whatsoever. So anyone else got any final thoughts on that one before we wrap this up?
Nah, I'm good.
I know Josh is raising his hand. So what do you got to say, Josh?
Right. No, the first moment I knew that the movie was in trouble was when they didn't recast Tim Allen. And I was like, dude, I know why they did not recast him. Like, I know this. If they make a Woody movie, like a Woody, the cowboy, whatever, they're going to recast, obviously, they're going to recast Tom Hanks because he is a character, right? And the reason why they didn't recast Tim Allen is because, well, he's a conservative. That's the only reason. And who is the complete opposite of a conservative right now? And he's also, hot shit or whatever. Chris Evans, right? Yeah. Unbearably left-wing. And I'm like, dude, especially, you know, I remember like 4 or 5 years ago when you would talk about whatever involving politics, and Chris Evans was like showing that no, it wasn't even a meme, but he was showing that image of the, you know, how bad you're gonna look in like 60 years from now, whatever. I think he was talking about the gay rights, whatever. And I was like, all right. I mean, I can kind of see your point, but what are you doing this? You're not Captain America. But the problem is, all of my friends were like, oh, this is the real Captain America, man. This is what Captain America stands for. And I was like, no. That is not. I'm not even
Chris
American,
Evans.
and I can identify with Captain America more than you are, you piece of slumming cunt, mate. Fucking hell.
And I don't want to get... I don't want to get off on a tangent here or anything, but one of my genuinely my favorite comic book runs of all time was Marvel's Civil War, because of the ideology, the ideology at the center of that, which was, you know, freedom versus security and what matters and why it matters. And there's an amazing philosophical debate that could have happened in a comic book movie, and they completely fucked it up and didn't do it service. And but it's that Captain America as a character, it has that whole thing about like, you know, like basically when everybody's telling you to move, you don't. You do what you believe in, what you you know, and that can mean a lot of different things. But basically, when the whole world is basically pressuring you to cave and go against your principles, you tell them to fuck off. You tell them no. You say, I'm gonna do what I think is right, and that is the idea of Captain America and America overall. Like each citizen has a right to decide for themselves what is right and to follow that.
Yeah, and that's why I like Winter Soldier is one of my favorite movies, because the whole storyline was that they found out, oh yeah, Nazis have been secretly running our government. You know, Hydra have been secretly running our government for decades, and no one noticed. So everything that we've been doing in the world for the last 70 years was all on Hydra's dime. So it became like a big government distrust movie. Keep in mind, this is before Trump too. So they weren't even like trying to make like any correlations to like Trump or anything like that.
Yes.
It was just a pure like anti-government like film. And then, like I said, with Civil War, they didn't play up to the fact of what happened in the last Captain America movie. It's like, you want to let the government regulate superheroes? Like, we literally just found out the government were Nazis like 2 movies ago. Like, is that really a smart idea? It's like that was the one thing that I didn't like about the film. It's like you had the storyline already written and you didn't even play up to it. But yeah, that's why I think Winter Soldier is probably the best MCU film out of them all.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's the problem though. That I mean, it's not a problem. The movie is great. I also love it. It's one of my MCU top 5, top 3 even.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you make that movie today, and there's probably going to be some roadways, you know, talking about the movie, and and that's just
the critics won't accept it.
Here it is. Hydra is Republican, and that's what they're going to tell you, right? So Hydra is actually the Republicans, and they're going to have like a Donald Trump stand-in or whatever, and it's like no, just don't keep politics out of whatever. And this is the leftist like it's always the same argument. It's like Star Wars was always political. And I'm like, no, it wasn't really.
And that's,
it was
by the
good
way,
versus bad. You don't really. Yes.
That's another argument I absolutely hate. The whole like everything is political. It's like, no, everything is personal. Everything is personal, and you can extrapolate political meaning out of the personal, but no, it's personal first. It has to do with human beings.
100% agree.
And so, I hate these sort of leftist like academic arguments that have been perpetuated for the last 25 years. It's like, no, I refuse to buy into your postmodern bullshit.
Yeah. I think we should end things on this one that Cassie sent me. So she's responsible for this. It's a little meme that says, when gas is $6 a gallon and now you have to drive to another state to kill your baby. It's like, everything comes full circle.
Well,
you know. Man, you were laughing. You were laughing at people complaining about gas prices a week ago. And, well, join the club, fuckers.
But hold on, because I want to get this real. You know, I want to get this clear. So apparently, you now can't really drive to another state to get your abortion or whatever, right?
No,
or the
can.
gas. No, but not after today, as far as I'm concerned, right?
No, so the whole thing was...
I mean, I don't really know about regarding gas prices, but regarding the abortion thing, you can't really go anywhere in the US to get like an abortion now.
No, it's
it's a state issue. So there's 50 states in the U.S. So now the abortion is being sent back to the states. So what's going to happen is about 28 states out of the 50 are going to ban abortion. And then the other 22 is going to be completely legal. So and essentially, if you want to get your abortion, if you live in a red state, you're going to have to go to a blue state to get it done now. That's essentially what happened. So
pretty respectable majority. So
right. I mean,
so far.
So far, the only two states that have like completely just outright banned abortion in all cases after today's announcement were like Alabama and South Dakota. Those are the only two states so far. So
pretty rad.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm.
Yeah.
So well, we went a little bit over time. There was a lot to talk about, and then of course Josh was late, so we had to get into a lot of stuff.
Oh, mate, I was late for an hour, so maybe we can go for another hour, man.
No, the funny part is you were technically here on time. You were just late to the show. So
I was late. Right. So I was in time. I was late to the show. Yes.
Yeah, he was in the background pressing the button. So. So I want to go ahead and give guys a chance to kind of promote everything that you guys are doing right now, where people can find you if they want more of you. I think we'll start off with Rob. Go ahead and tell where we can get more of Rob's movie reviews.
Yeah, I mostly just talk about movies here on Twitter. There's my handle below on the bottom of the screen. And I do movie reviews on Monday night with Jacob, Society Reviews, me, him, and Rick, and sometimes there's a fourth guest. We were doing our third one this week on Elvis and the Black Phone, so I'm looking forward to seeing those and talking about them. And just follow my Twitter. I'll be getting out reviews here pretty regularly starting next week.
Nice.
All right, Josh. I don't know if you have anything to promote, but I'm just gonna put the camera on your face there just for a couple of minutes. You got anything you want to say to the people out there?
Right, to the viewers or to you, I'm just going to say, I don't know, I'm just glad to be here today. Thankfully, after an hour of, just trying to get this fucking thing to work.
Nice, Mike.
And well, I just like I told you before, I actually kept one of my promises. Actually, I kept two of them, apparently, because we're now ending the stream. I didn't make a scene, and I am drunk. So I kept both of my promises.
But you're British, so I mean that doesn't count. You're still holding your.
Oh yeah, no, I'm never drunk. I'm just British. That's the thing.
Yeah,
right? So I can excuse my behavior just because of it. But yeah, no. I don't really have anything. I do actually have some. I did actually write some scripts for next week, so I have three videos. That will be posted next week. My first 3 videos on my YouTube channel.
Nice.
But I don't really have. But that's like the one thing. I already have the scripts written. I need to just do all of the video editing, the recording. Thankfully, I've got a mic for that. And that is it. I'm gonna start, creating content next week. So
man. I will totally
I'm really looking forward to it.
Word.
Yeah, so find the condescending Josh if you want to see more of his content. We're definitely going to be.
Oh, the content is going to be really condescending, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait.
It's going to be condescending. I mean, like, look, to the level that I'm not even going to start recording those videos sober. So there you go.
Ooh.
Amazing.
It's going to be really condescending.
Well, we already have a drunk Scottishman on YouTube, so we'll get a drunk Englishman on YouTube as well. So we'll cover all of our fronts here.
It's copyrighted, but I can't use that name.
You can find me on YouTube, here on Twitch, and now, since I finally got the shit worked out, on Odyssey, baby. You can find me on Odyssey as well. But yeah, like I put out like a response video to one of my favorite YouTubers, Finn McKenty, on his subject of like the female-fronted bands. And tomorrow I'm gonna be streaming myself playing Fall Guys, so I'm gonna be super excited for that. We finally get Fall Guys on the Xbox, so that's gonna be a hell of a lot of fun.
All right, and definitely go pick up that package because now it's something that you can enjoy for your future streams. You know, get it before Monday because then they're gonna send it back, and then I'm like, And then last but definitely not least, Cult Classic Cage. How you doing? Tell us where we can find you.
So you can find me on YouTube, Cult Classic Cage. Some of the recent videos I did was a review on the Teenage Mutant
Hold on a
Turtles.
second. Stop talking. I just want to put over the fact that your hat matches the colorful poster that you have there on the wall. I just want to interrupt you. And
exactly. Yeah.
Bro, I've never even seen Cowboy Bebop, but come on, man. Representing, of course.
Definitely. If you haven't, then definitely check it out. One of the
videos,
original,
not the Netflix one.
That doesn't exist. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. But one of my YouTube videos I just made was ripping on the chick that plays the live action Faye Valentine. Complete total failure.
Daniela Pineda.
Yeah, she nuked any potential success for the Cowboy Bebop live action adaptation, which doesn't exist. And she thinks that she deserves a fucking Faye Valentine spinoff. Amazing. And shout out to Spencer for giving me content because I didn't even know she existed until he wrote that article. Yeah, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles review. I Twitch stream. I've been playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you can find me Cult Classic Cage on Twitch, on Twitter. Same shit, Cult Classic Cage wherever, pretty much.
And Spencer's putting you over like $1 million, saying that everyone loves your guest spot on Wednesday night. So then we're gonna bring it on hold to me because let's be honest, you guys all came here to watch me on this stream. Not
you're the star, mate.
Yes, sorry. So just want to give everyone an update to what we've got going on. Tomorrow night we're gonna be on Twitch. It's gonna be a Twitch exclusive. So if you're on YouTube right now and you haven't subscribed to Twitch, go to Twitch. Follow me over there. We're going to be watching the 1998 film The Faculty tomorrow on our movie night. And then we're going to be spinning the wheel and figure out what we're going to be watching next week. Or, hey, maybe we even decide to watch the UFC next week. I haven't completely decided, but I'll talk to the guys here and see what they're feeling about that. So that's tomorrow night on Twitch. The Faculty 1998 should be a good one. Monday night, as Rob mentioned earlier, we're going to be reviewing the new Elvis movie and Black Phone. Those are two movies I actually just saw earlier today. And I think we'll have a pretty positive discussion about those movies. So there's a little bit of a teaser for that one. Wednesday night, we'll be back on YouTube with the Black Pill stream with Spencer, our editor extraordinaire, who's clearly not doing much of anything right now if he's listening to this show. And then next Friday night, we'll be back here on YouTube, on Twitch, for the Barroom Podcast, episode 5. We'll talk about certainly Ezra Miller again, because I'm pretty sure something bad will happen, but we'll find 4 other things next week as well on top of all that. So, like I said, Side Reviews here on YouTube, on Twitch, Sidey Movies on Twitter if you want to see me argue with mostly wrestling fans about stuff that absolutely doesn't matter. Stupid. And then
I missed that part of the stream.
Oh yeah, that was a doozy.
I definitely missed that part of the stream. Yeah, but I saw the kerfuffle on Twitter. So
yeah. Oh yeah, but I want to put this over too. Cassie just recently passed 400 subscribers on
nice.
YouTube.
Oh, congratulations! Yeah, I actually saw that earlier on Twitter as well. So congratulations.
Yeah. So if you haven't subscribed to her already, go ahead and do that.
Thank you.
So until then, well, I guess we'll catch you guys tomorrow night on Twitch for our movie night. But until then, for me, for Rob, for TW, for Cassie, for Josh, we will see you next week on the Barroom Podcast. Enjoy yourselves. Have a nice day. Try to get in fights on Twitter. If they have pronouns in their bio, just mute them. Your life will be much better. See you next week.